What's going on, my BMX nerd friends? Welcome back to another episode of KANODE, brought to you by Dig BMX. This week on the show, we got Joris Coulomb, a BMX professional rider from France. He's on Shadow, Sparkies, Shadow and Subrosa, and he's got his own clothing company called Swasty. We get into that. He's a part of the Hare Krishna movement. Bhagavat Gita is the book that I couldn't pronounce for half of this episode, but I had a really good time. I've known Joris for a long time. He came out to Arizona, 12, 13 years ago, and we met for the first time, and we've been friends ever since. And during my time working with Subrosa, he was on almost all of the trips that I got to go on. So love this man, love this conversation. We got into it much more than just BMX in this episode, a lot of mindset, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Before we get into it, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. Share the show with a friend, and leave a comment of who you'd like to see on one of the future episodes. Now that I got that shit out of the way, let's get into it. Here's Joris. Joris Coulomb. That's not how you say it. Joris Coulomb. Good morning, Joris Coulomb.
Good morning, Bobby.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Where are you?
Miami, downtown Miami, pretty much.
How long you been there?
For a month now, over a month.
Hell yeah.
Just on a whim.
On a whim? What was the reason?
Well, there was different reasons this time. I always wanted to come to Swampfest first, but driving all the way from California sounded like a lot for a weekend and everything. But this time I wanted to meet this girl that lives here that I've been talking to, and just I was supposed to come stay a month at first and make it a whole like big trip. So now just been to Swampfest and
hell yeah, that's dope. So you did go to Swampfest, yeah?
Yeah. Last weekend, it was my first one.
First one ever?
Yeah.
Sick.
Somehow.
What'd you think?
Swampfest. Pretty much what I expected, what I thought it was gonna be, but wow, it's definitely wild.
Tell me about it, man. I've
But
never
I feel
been.
like this year was like legitly like it's getting to a point where it's like look like I don't know, real event. I think I saw the X Games were covering it somehow.
Nice.
Yeah, there was people from the X Games just posting about it.
Yeah, I saw little glimpses of like the officialness of it, like directions and the gates open at this time and all that shit. Like I don't know what was the whole, like, tell me about day one of Swampfest for those of us who couldn't go. I mean, what happens on day one? Give me a little recap.
Day one, when did I get there? Yeah, Friday morning, early. I opened at 11, and it was kind of like out there. You had to drive like an hour out of Orlando.
It's just in the middle of nowhere, yeah?
Middle of nowhere, yeah. But it's like the easiest, pretty much. Just that gate, huge Swampfest sign, and drive in, $60 each. But it's pretty fair for like camping, everything, just riding, and just support. They didn't feel bad at all.
Yeah.
And super easy, just wristband, you park wherever you want, and then it's all right there. Like everyone was already pretty much there. It was already going on like kind of like crazy.
What was the first shit that you saw?
What was it? Oh yeah, I was like trying to call Ronnie just cause he said like they like pay for some or whatever, they arrange like a camping site or whatever.
Yeah.
I was gonna call him, and as soon as I pulled in, Ronnie was there.
Nice.
I met Ronnie, and then easily just went to like their camp, and then pretty much just went straight to the park.
Did you get some riding in? It looks like
sure.
there was a bunch of different shit to ride this time.
Yeah. It felt like there was more wood than mud this time, or like a decent amount of like, because they had more skaters too, so I feel like they had to make it skatable. So
yeah, which is dope.
It was pretty nice. Yeah,
I think that's new. Nice. That the having skaters involved is a new thing this year, no?
Yeah, cement bowl.
Yeah, dude, cement. I saw like a story of them bringing in like a cement truck, and I was like, what, dude?
Yeah,
that's next level. That's official.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing to ride out of everything that was there? I saw the castle, I saw the rail. What was your favorite thing?
The giant vert wall.
Giant vert wall.
With all the stuff in it. It was so sick.
That's dope.
It's Dodge, yeah, that's kind of cool. And the King Rail for sure. The castle though, like pretty cool to ride too. Just
Yeah.
jumping over the water. So
Did you
sick.
get any clips?
Yeah, I got a few clips the first day, and then second day it was like mayhem. Like all the different contests and yeah, it was kind of hard to like get in there.
Yeah, I want to see it. Did you
But
post anything from it?
yeah, I posted a couple of clips
Oh yeah,
like on that
there's
vert
riding the
wall,
vert wall. Yeah, I remember seeing this. And you hit the bucket with your
and
bar spin, dude. That was
yeah,
sick.
that was accident at first, and then I tried to recreate it or do it on purpose.
That's fire. Yeah, that's pretty cool that you got to run into Boss Man right away. Where did you end up like sleeping? Did you hang out with Ronnie and them, or go
Yeah,
get a
I was right
hotel?
there, but ended up, yeah, I was just sleeping in the car.
Sleeping in the
But barely,
car.
yeah, seats are going like perfectly vertical.
Sick.
But we didn't really sit that much. Like by the time we were going to bed, like sun was about like coming up, and then everyone gets up like kind of early anyway, because it's like
Sheesh.
camping style. So for 2 days,
Just a
it was like
marathon.
48 hours. It felt like 24 hours.
Yeah.
No
It,
shower.
I don't know. Like I have mixed feelings. I'm like that looks like just being there would be fun, but at the end of the day, I don't want to sleep in my car. I want to go get a hotel room or some shit. I'm sure some people
Yeah,
did it that
but
way.
yeah, it's too far.
Yeah, it's a trek.
No, but
And
if you come like it was my first time, I didn't think about like accommodations or anything. I should have like buy a tent maybe or something like a cooler or like
yeah,
maybe next year I'll come all prepared. But I kind of just came like go up there and that was it.
yeah. I'm glad it didn't get rained out like it did last year. I
Yeah,
think it got rained out. That sucks. Um,
it's perfect weather.
so that sounds cool. Swampfest was cool. I mean, I think everybody's seen all the highlights
Yeah.
and stuff on Instagram. So it another one has come and gone. Shout out to Trey
Hmm.
for putting that shit on.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to put on.
Yeah.
And I think it's good.
Definitely.
Like it's so crazy because, like you said, like people drive from all over the country to
Hmm.
this 48-hour festival, which is
Yeah.
wild. And then, dude,
Yeah.
the crazy ass people jumping off the top and belly flopping into that what I imagine is not that deep of a puddle. Like,
Yeah. I think they made it deeper somehow. That was like probably the deepest corner.
yeah,
But wow. Yeah,
just
yeah, I
belly
think that was a
flopping from
skater.
that high. So
Someone
crazy.
replied to my story. They knew the guy. It's like a skater. Can't remember the name, but
Just crazy.
insane.
Yeah, that's
Belly flop.
nuts. So I remember one of my favorite things that I've ever seen was Denim jumping off of a moving tractor or whatever the big machine was a couple or 1 year ago, 2 years ago. I forget what year it was, but
Hmm.
Denim usually ends up in the highlight reels of
Yeah.
that. Denim Cox is crazy boy.
Designed for him. Yeah.
Who do you think like I don't think there's a winner of Swampfest, but if you were who went in the hardest? Who did you see doing the most?
Mm, I'll say Reed, Corey, Walsh, but luckily, unfortunately, sorry, he broke his teeth, so he fell pretty bad in the ball, but he was kind of killing it. And then
Damn, Corey got
there was
hurt.
a lot of random people too, like Grant, yeah, broke pretty good
Grant
from
Yubi.
PSC. Yeah,
Yeah.
UB. Um, yeah, I know Garrett was there somehow. He appeared like on Sunday too, but he rode a little bit after the thing kind of.
That's
That
dope.
was sick. Yeah, just came out.
Yeah, I bet. I feel like they probably made a trip out of it to, ride Florida elsewhere afterwards or whatever. Just
Yeah, yeah.
go filming.
Hmm.
Okay. So then you get back to Miami. I don't and are you obviously brought your bike and you're hanging out there. Are you linking up with anybody in Miami while you're there? I know that
I
I
haven't
just
yet
know
that much.
Keandre. That's it.
Yeah, there's not that many people in the city actually. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
There was a jam like 2 week like the weekend before Sumfest, and everyone asked like they were like from out of town like an hour away, or
Damn.
there's not that many people. Shit.
That's interesting.
But I know a
Miami
few
seems like
people
it
because
should have more people.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, well, where is everyone? But I know a few people because of Sparky's Jam. Like like the people from Miami or from around here would come up to Sparky's Jam back when
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. But I'm like in the exploring phase, so I don't need anyone. I'm just going like a random direction. I'm just pedaling and
That's so
cruising through the
sick.
city, exploring. So
That's
sick.
the best. That's
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Johnny yesterday about how that's probably the Our favorite part of the whole process is just like exploring a new city and
Fresh
pedaling
city,
around.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
then when
love
I go here,
losing.
like fresh bike, straight out of Sparky's in the fresh city, I was like, wow,
Hell yeah. It's like
it's like a
hitting restart on a
dream.
video game, just brand new. Let's
Exactly, yeah,
go.
exactly. New
Let's
level.
go. Tell me about this new bike. I mean, so people who don't know, Sparky's is the distro for Shadow and Subrosa, and they're based in Florida. And shit, how long have you been riding for Sparky's at this point?
Mm, I feel like it's gonna be 10 years, like this year or next year,
It's a
something like that.
long time, dude. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a long time already. Super fast.
Tell us about your current new bike setup.
Well, it's exactly the same as the one I had before, the orange one, but still with the new bars for sample. Still waiting on the second series of sample, and
Are they your signature bars?
yeah,
Sick.
it's
What are
like
they called?
it's gonna be with the series of bars
Oh,
frame forks,
bars. Dope.
Yeah, no, but it felt great, and I kind of did the exact colorway that I had like 2 bikes ago. I just like I loved it so much. I was like, I'm just gonna do the exact same of what I had before the orange frame. But yeah,
What is that
same,
colorway?
same. Just chrome bars, purple stem, and black and green.
I love
There's the
that.
green stickers.
Yeah,
The purple and the chrome go super well, and the green from the stickers.
for real. I
Yeah.
remember being younger and seeing, I think it was Chase D who had a purple stem and either black or chrome bars and a black frame. And I was like, that's so
Mm-hmm.
good. Just like the little
Yeah.
flash of purple on the stem
Mm-hmm.
is, it's a nice
Yeah.
touch.
Yeah.
Good
Subtle.
choice.
Mm-hmm.
Just random question. What do you think is your favorite part of yours? Like, what are you most proud of as far as like your signature parts? Ohm is such a dope name, first of all, but like, what do you
Yeah.
think is your
It's kind of hard
favorite
because I love them
product?
all. I would say the
Yeah,
frame or even the bars now, but actually it's just because I think the grips, the Maya grips, like I think it's just too perfect.
sick. Hell yeah. I've never
Like
never touched them, the Maya grips.
yeah,
I
it's
oughta.
something.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's dope.
Something. I feel like bees made it.
It's like bees made it. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it feels like the
Hell yeah,
bees made
that's beautiful.
it.
They're just full of honey and love.
Mm-hmm.
Where did the
Exactly.
name Maya come from?
Um, well, it was kind of funny because there's a cartoon. It's like Maya, the bee with the bee, something like
Really?
it's maybe a French thing,
Yeah.
or maybe it's called different in English, but actually it's from my idea comes from the Sanskrit, the illusion, and that cube or that pattern. It kind of gives a trippy effect where it could be like the cubes can be like standing out or inside. It's like
Oh
something.
yeah.
Sometimes you just draw it, plays with your vision. Maya.
And yeah, it does look like a honeycomb. It looks like bees made
Mm-hmm.
it. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking good, dude. I should get some of those.
Mm-hmm.
I've been rocking the ODIs lately. Just that rubber, dude, is really good.
Oh yeah.
And but not to say your grips aren't good. I'm sure they're plenty good.
No,
Shit. So
it's flavors.
any new discoveries in Miami pedaling around, finding spots? I remember it
Yeah,
being pretty fun to pedal around. There's like a couple of really famous spots.
yeah.
Any anything that are you working on like a project at all?
Well, I wasn't, but now that I'm here, yeah, I'm definitely trying to work on something. And I have a camera now, so I mean, the Sparky's camera, they lent it to me, so I could work on some stuff. But I just need like someone to ride with and to film and stuff.
Yeah. Dude, it's hard. It's
But
hard to film yourself, especially with a nice
yeah,
camera and shit. Like you can do it
yeah.
on a
No,
tripod,
but
but
at least I could just bring it and ride with people, and I could like hand the camera and like
yeah,
or find someone like a legit like filmer that's around. But just go here. So I'm getting to that.
I bet you can find like a skate filmer down there and
Also,
maybe
yeah,
maybe link up with them. That'd be cool.
yeah.
What camera did they lend you?
It was a Panasonic, I think like
One of them? Yeah.
HVX or something like that. Yeah,
Sick.
they're like there's like a lot that look exactly the same.
With a
I
fisheye?
barely, I, no, there's no fish yet.
No fish. Only
I would
long.
have to provide. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
maybe
all
no, I'll
good.
get one. Yeah,
There's some really good videos that are out that are all long lens. Like you don't necessarily need a fisheye to
yeah,
make a good video.
yeah,
And you've
exactly.
been making videos on your own for a hot minute now. Like you're kind of
Yeah,
the one man army. You go out and wherever you are, you get shit done. Tripod,
yeah,
and you
pretty
were
much. Yeah.
on the grind with Patreon for a while. Let's
Hmm.
how did or is Patreon going? I think I'm still subscribed to you if it still
Yeah,
exists.
I feel like there's still a few subscribers because I didn't close it, but it's just so hard to entertain like everything at the same time, like Instagram and Patreon and all of it. Plus promoting Patreon and Instagram is like you can do it. Like
Yeah,
they
they suppress it, huh?
they suppress it, like, and
Yeah.
then they end up suppressing your account. So I didn't want it to affect my account in general, which I think it did, kind
Yeah.
of, because I've tried, and now I feel like yeah, it's weird.
That's whack. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, they got to do what they got to do, I guess, but
yeah,
we don't like
whatever. But
that.
then I had
Yeah.
to make a decision, like
What was
that's about
it?
it.
What was it like when you first started your Patreon? Did you get people hating on you, calling you like what?
No,
What's the
actually, what I
general
remember is
reaction?
just like no. What I remember is just people like, huh, like interested, like how does it work, or I've been thinking about it. Like I was actually just trying when people were thinking about it. I remember Trey and Johnny Rakes and like I don't know, just a few people actually asking me about how it worked or what was it. Maybe
Yeah.
we talked about it and stuff like that.
Yeah, we totally did because I was
Yeah.
thinking about it for I forget what exactly, maybe the podcast or something, but
Hmm.
um what was I mean, for people who don't know, what's it like trying to start a Patreon and grow a Patreon and what type of shit did you put on your Patreon?
Um, it's really about like thinking everything ahead. Like usually I have Instagram like it's so spontaneous. Whatever I got today, I'll post it tomorrow. Or, like I don't have any planning on posting and everything. But then for that, you kind of have to start like planning,
Yeah.
and there's a lot more that goes into it, which could be like a lot to do for a lot of people, but it's not that hard even. And I would post like just previews of like maybe a clip that's gonna be in a video, like a single, or just like me trying instead of like posting clips on Instagram for like 10 seconds, like I put the whole session so people could get like for 10 minutes, like me trying something, some
Yeah.
I know when I was a kid, if I cared about like a writer or whatever, I would want to see him like try something, like see how I don't know,
Yeah.
just a little stuff that would be sitting on my fun content that would like I don't know, either I know place for Instagram or stuff in general. Yeah.
That's a great idea. Just
Yeah.
posting like the raw on Patreon. That's dope.
Yeah. I think that's
Um,
very cool.
that made me think of so like the other thing that you had going on or still have going on is Swasty. Um,
Hmm.
tell me what that is, how it started, and how it's going.
Well, I started at first because I was following the Krishna consciousness movement, with like the Hindu um, culture with the mantras and stuff. So I just felt like printing stickers, and I was like doing those like round stickers that I was like giving out to everyone. And then at some point, people were asking for the stickers, kind of like, or they wanted to buy them. I was like, no, I'm just giving them for free. I want to buy them, I want to buy more, or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
so I came up with the name. I was like, oh, I might just make a sticker company, or just sell them like that. That's where Swastikers came out because it sounded like swastika, but like stickers,
Yeah.
swastika. But then I was like later, I'm not gonna do. I don't want to just do stickers. I want to do shirt maybe. So I shrunk it to like swasti, which is also like a word, like whatever. And
What does
then
it
boom,
mean?
it started. Um, it means kind of like may it all be good. Like su is like purity, and sti is like it's all good, or may it all be good. It's like a usually
Dope.
like the first part of a mantra, Om Swasti, and then like the whole sentence. And you start Om
Sick.
Swasti. Blah, blah.
I love
So
that.
yeah, it's kind of like auspicious kind of
So
word,
it
but
started with stickers, and then what was next?
and then started doing more like Photoshop stuff on my phone, just really out of my phone, really what I use the most, but out of his best, out of whatever I could do with my phone, I would do it
Yeah.
on there. And then started making like shirt design. And then at some point I got like Illustrator because I was like, you gotta make bigger designs.
Yeah. On your phone,
But
you're
it took
doing Illustrator?
it was like yeah, some kind of Photoshop on my phone, and I was
Sick.
using
Yeah.
a few different apps that would make it like the end result was like kind of close to what you would do on a computer.
Dude, that's
This
incredible.
resolution was like yeah.
Yeah.
And then even when I had Illustrator, I wasn't switching because I was like opening Illustrator. It looked like I couldn't do it. There was so much stuff to like learn.
Yeah.
It took me like months to like actually finally start like switching.
Yep.
And then yeah, just more shirts, and then a lot of people like in that bucket of people that like everyone kind of really liked it. And then I started doing these like memes or whatever. I was using like other brands' name and like spiritualizing it, making it like sound like like the polo shirt or made it polo or just like a thrasher shirt. It says Harry Ball.
Yeah,
Like switching it into like with spiritual consciousness or whatever.
that's dope.
And then that was actually people really like. So I ended up like just like I went with that I've been really going with that for a little bit.
How did it work? Because I am interested in, like, I want to produce some t-shirts and sell them, but
Yeah,
I'm not even sure where. I know I've done it in the past, but it was through the help of somebody. So like, what was your actual process of, finding a shirt producer? Did you do it drop shipping style to where it's made
yeah,
per order? Or did
yeah.
you just order a batch of them and hope you can sell them? And what do you think is the best way to do that?
I did a little bit of both. I started definitely with just buying shirts like at a low cost, but you have to like so many per size per. I had like 3 designs at first, and then all the sizes by 20. And by now, I'm sure there's still like there's so many shirts at my mom's house in France like that didn't sell. Like so that was our part, and it was like a lot of money to front, and you have to stock it somewhere. You need storage.
Yeah.
So then I look into like the print on demand system, which is actually pretty nice because it's the the minimum price when you buy the shirt is everything's kind of like it's more expensive than even like the after print and stuff like that.
For
But you
print
don't
on
have
demand,
to.
it's more expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a shirt would be $6 instead of like you got it for 3
Yeah.
other places, and then it's like a lot more cost, but you don't have to go to you pay for to go to like mail them at the post office and stuff like that. You don't have to do. There's no labor, so like
Dude, that's fire.
that costs money.
Tell me what the name of this of your print. Well, I guess you can tell me off the air if you want, but what can you tell me right now what the
No, I could do it.
print
Like I
on
think
demand
it's
company
one of the
is?
main. Yeah, if you type print on demand, that would be pretty much the one of the first one that come up. One I use was Printify, and there's
Spin
like
Say it again.
Printify,
Printify, got it.
and then there's another one. It's like Print something also. But you'll see there's like the two major ones.
Yeah.
I had both at some point just to test them, and then I went with Printify. It was a little easier.
That's interesting. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do
and
that.
yeah, it's kind of nice because even if you get an order in Europe, you can select the printer that's in Europe, so then you pay less mail
How
packaging.
dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great, dude.
you have access to like different kind of printers.
What would you say is the biggest hit that you had when you were doing the knocking off major brands
Oh
and
yeah.
turning them spiritually? What was the most popular one?
Hmm. Probably there's the Hare, the Dare thing, the Dare, the taking
Oh,
kids
like,
off drugs or whatever.
yeah, drug abuse
That's Hare
resistance
Krishna. Yeah,
education.
that one and the polo one also. The Thrasher definitely. There's a few. The NASA.
What's the website
Oh,
to
the
look at?
website is down. Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say. I had to like put everything on hold for like a year now. I haven't sold anything. I haven't.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, it was yeah. I had to like now I have to like register the business. Like actually, I was
Make
doing a dual LLC and stuff like that because Etsy starting to ask all the very actual numbers, licenses
yeah,
and stuff.
like your employer identification number and
Yeah,
all that shit. Yeah.
yeah. Under a certain amount of money you make, like they don't care, but like it was making a certain amount that now they're starting to care, and they were like
Yeah.
they wanted to close the account, so I was like, I'm closing the account
Before you get
before
started.
you get
No, I'm
yeah,
quitting before you can
I'm
fire
quitting
me.
exactly. But I'm
um,
about I want to reopen it pretty soon.
Sick. I'm excited for that. I'll buy a shirt or a sweater or whatever your girl
Mm-hmm.
bought that they love so
Yeah.
much. Let's see. Let's go back to I do want to talk about like your origins and shit. So
Mm-hmm.
we kind of touched on what's going on now, but I remember Joris Coulomb from France on Nike 6.0 and short hair and just doing park stuff like tail whips, and
Mm-hmm.
you were a park rider at the beginning, which is kind of interesting to look back on.
Yeah.
Tell me
That's
about, the I think we all have a similar story on how we got into riding, but what were the early years of riding for you like? And yeah, how did it progress? Shit, just tell me your
mm-hmm.
BMX life
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
if you will.
Well, we started in a very small town, Nico Bade. Remember
Yeah.
from France?
Love
Yeah,
Nico.
like
Yep.
this little town. It was like right there. And but yeah, like back then it was more like overall, like it was just BMX really. So we would do street, park, and dirt, just the same amount. Actually, street was the least we would do, but I started at the trails. It was like
Sick.
this little trail that people were building in my old town. It was like perfect, like in the middle of the woods and everything. I had to find it by myself, and I just ended up going there. We'll build like our stuff kind of. And then later I started going to the skate park and stuff like that.
Nice.
And Buddy was there. There was like a few people actually at the time. Probably yeah, 10, 15 riders in
Were
this
you
little
just
town.
doing this kind of blindly, or did anything like spark the motivation? Like everybody kind of has their video that they saw that they're like, oh, I want to do that. Or maybe a local dude that you saw shredding that you were like, oh, I want to do that.
Hmm.
Like what was your,
Well, the moment
inspiration at the
yeah,
beginning?
it was when I was skating before that, and I always felt like I was skating like it was like felt alone, kind of even like I wasn't going to the skate park yet, but it felt like kind of lonely. And I was actually skating kind of close to my house, a little plaza, like just a two stair or whatever.
I love a good
And
two stare.
then a group a group of like bike BMX riders, bikers just came in the plaza and they started like jumping around like like all over the place, but it looked like they were together, like it was a choreography or something like that. And I was like,
Sick.
huh. I'm like here by myself, just trying to like. It looked cool. It was attractive the fact that they were together. It was like a harmony, or just like
Yeah.
synergy. I was like, damn, I want to do that. And then it was pretty much it. It was like 12, 13.
Dope.
Yeah.
Do you remember
And
your
then
first
that's
bike?
yeah. I ended up having two because my parents were divorced, and it was like this all he shoot.
They're
But I had
like,
it
I'm
with
getting
the
him a bike.
people.
No, I'm getting him a bike.
Yeah, I had it with the people, and then in a Harrow at the same time.
Sick.
I kind of went with the people.
So good choice.
Hmm.
So then you're riding
Yeah,
trails with Nico. How did you meet Nico?
he used to eat at the trails. He was living right by there.
Dope.
So it was just there. One of the kids took us like a while to like start talking and stuff like that, but like becoming like friends, like it was a little later
I'm
somehow.
picturing, you're 14 years old and you're riding trails, just kind of jumping over little jumps. Is that, accurate? Is that what's the? I just saw a clip of Brant Moore asking a bunch of people had what was the first trick they learned? What was the first trick you learned?
I think it was X ups and no footers, and I remember trying no foot X up at the same time.
Sick.
And then, but then the very first summer, they ended up building like some kind of a pump pit at the trails.
Oh no shit.
So I was already trying tail whips and stuff like that. I remember rolling my ankle because I was starting a 360 whip, but I landed it off the not in the foam,
Oh no.
and I rolled my ankle. It was tiny.
That's awesome though.
Yeah,
Just hucking 360 whips at 14 years old. That's fire.
yeah, for real.
Did you ever get it? I feel like you totally did 360 whips and you've done them. You've done them before.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
then
Probably done
after that,
360 double there.
really? That's
Well, at
crazy.
least one.
Yeah,
At
that's
least do
awesome.
double whips like that.
Were you rocking a gyro and brakes and all that back then?
Yeah,
Sick.
definitely. I kind of did everything. Pegless, all the pegs, two pegs, gyro, the one cable, the just a straight cable,
The whole
did
shebang.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
low
Um,
seat, high seat.
yeah. What do you think about the low seat, high seat? What are you rocking right now? Medium seat?
Kind of medium, higher than lower for sure,
Yeah.
but I don't like it too low, too high. Either way, but
I'm seeing
yeah,
a trend of a lot of people running the high seat now, and I'm like,
high
damn,
seat. Yeah,
dude. I it's
it
cool
looks hard
for
for tail whips.
yeah. I mean, well, I can't relate to tail whips at all, but I just don't like it being in the way. Like I was rocking a medium seat for a while, and I just recently put it back down to slammed,
Yeah.
and hang fives feel better again, and just like spinning feels better. It just feels it's less out of the way, or it's less in the
Mm,
way. You know,
yeah. But
I'm
I
back
just
to
saw
slam.
Yumi recently doing Yumi from Japan
Yeah,
doing a hop
dude,
whip
his seat is very
recently.
high.
Yeah, and I don't know, that's a hop whip like just like it's not there.
Yeah, so wild. You gotta
So crazy.
lift up extra high to get over that seat.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to you're in France and jumping dirt, maybe going to a skate park, and it's just like a hobby at this point. Was there ever a moment where you're like, I want to try and make something out of this? And what was your
Mm.
first taste of maybe a trip or a sponsor? What happens in your early in your BMX career?
Well, it kind of started taking off. I mean, it wasn't really like I had no objective really. Like I didn't set like a certain goal or like I wasn't really going anywhere. But I could tell like very quick, like it was just I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like so like into like doing it. That by the time I was 16, I got on proper and I had like
Yeah,
some
I remember
bikes and
proper.
then yeah. And then by 17, then the following year, that's when the 6.0 came around and they put me on the pro team like pretty much right away. So it was
How
like
did that
woo, woo,
happen?
woo,
Tell
woo,
me
woo.
about that. Nike getting on pro team.
I guess the team manager was like the team manager for Etnies before 6.0, and he was already like looking at me from like different little contests in France.
So you're
And then
traveling
he,
around doing contests.
yeah, contests in France.
Go.
And he was looking at me, and then he became the team manager for Nike. So I would have been on Etnies probably, but then becoming got like hired on Nike.
Dope.
And there was this contest in Germany that one year, the Worlds, remember, or the Masters, but they kept
Yeah.
changing the names. It was one of those, and I entered in pro, and I ended up like 12 or no 13 for qualifiers, and they were qualifying 12 people.
Oh
Then
shit.
just almost made it,
Yeah.
but somehow Mark Webb hurt his foot or hurt himself like during qualifiers, so he couldn't ride, and boom, I was in the finals.
Damn. Joko in
And
the
then
finals in
I
pro.
rode even better and ended up getting ninth space or something like that. I remember like double tail whips, 540 over the spine, like just like three
Fuck
like no
yeah.
hander. And that's pretty much after this contest because he was there, that team manager, whatever.
Yeah.
And then yeah, he contacted me right after. Stuff like that. And then he came from Paris down to like meet my parents down like south of France and stuff to sign a
Sick.
contract.
What was that
Pretty
like?
crazy.
Because you're underage, so you have to have the parents sign. And
Yeah, exactly.
were they proud
You
of
have to
you?
be.
Like they're like,
Yeah, they were
what?
pretty impressed. Yeah, because
Nike?
he came
Like,
right from Paris just for that. Also, it was like kind of crazy.
yeah, that's special, man. That's an
Yeah,
awesome memory.
mm,
That's cool.
for sure.
Sticking on the Nike tip, like it was a couple of years, I imagine at least. What's your favorite memory from doing projects with Nike, and kind of what was it like in its heyday? I know they came in and they did a bunch of cool shit. Like I remember the pool was a Nike thing that they did.
Yeah, the tunnel
Uh,
jam.
yeah,
That
the
like
tunnel.
the what was it? Standby. Remember that video contest? There were
Yeah,
different teams by countries. Like there was like pretty much one thing, a thing every year. Like, and it lasted for 11 years. Actually, it was like a good chunk.
11 years.
Like
Yeah,
I was on the team for 11 years.
wow.
Yeah, and then yeah, crazy.
What's your
But
favorite? What pops into your head as your favorite memory with Nike?
probably the standby thing or all those events like the pool was cool, but I think standby was kind of sick because they had apartments with like all the teams like all the different like in the same building, sort of like door to door kind of. It's kind of sick.
Yeah. Who made your guys' video? Was it Peter Adam?
No, I think it was Adrian
Adrian.
because
Okay.
we were like friends. It was by country this time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
And I
trying to
think
remember
we
those
won the
videos.
contest. It was like with the frogs. Our intro was like with Georgie, whatever the like two other low and Nike 6.0 operators.
Let's see. Nike 6.0 standby. Is that what I should look
Mm-hmm.
up? Nike 6.0 standby.
I forgot about that actually.
First place, France.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, you didn't mention that. You won, bro.
No,
That's
I just
cool.
did for yeah, it was like ten
Oh
thousand
yeah, I
euros or
remember the
something to split.
frogs. Hell yeah. And then split between the
Yeah,
four of you guys.
five and the film also.
Dude, that's awesome. Let's look
It
at.
was
Oh
just
my God, look at you, bro. This is crazy. Let me
oh
show
yeah,
you.
that's what you were talking about. Short hair.
Yeah, there he is. This kid right here. Did I pause it? Okay, here we go. Look at him. Joris Coulomb,
Wow.
dude. How old are you at this point?
Around 20, yeah, probably.
Nice. Florence a lot, dude. He's so good. So stylish. Clement,
Mm-hmm.
too. There he is, young JoJo.
Oh
Boom.
my.
How old are you now? So this is, are we the
Just
same
turned
age?
33.
33. Yeah, I'm about to turn
Yeah,
33 in June. So we're the same
yeah,
age.
same age. Oh, look, that
Boom.
720 Barcelona. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Get out of here, dude. I've actually ridden that spot, which I'm
Yeah.
stoked that I was over there and ridden past this spot. I think I filmed on it. That's a good clip.
Mm-hmm. When were you in Barcelona?
I was in Barcelona when Freed Bike Company was a thing, and
Mm,
they wanted a professional filmer over there, and we made some web videos for it,
nice.
and yeah, I got to spend 12 days in Barcelona and just get like the full experience of the culture there, and
Mm-hmm.
it was freaking awesome, dude. Like just the city living in, I mean, I think just in general in Europe is awesome. Like you walk down
Yeah.
and everything's walking, everything's pedaling,
Yeah.
and you know, like
Yeah.
walking down to the market and it's only real food. Like there's no processed
Yeah. You
cereals
have
and
to drive
candy
45 minutes
everywhere.
to get to Whole Foods. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And just like getting a bunch of really healthy food, like eggs and vegetables, and making a breakfast, and then going out
Yeah.
pedaling. And I remember the street beer, the red brand. I don't.
Estrella. Yeah.
Yeah, and just
Mm-hmm.
being you know, I think it was shit 20, and being out there and being able to drink and just hang out in the streets, dude, and just pedaling around Barcelona is one of the best feelings
Yeah,
I've ever had.
for sure.
I'd like to go back there sometime.
I miss it too.
Okay, so that's one of your first sponsors. That's crazy to think back on, Nike.
Mm-hmm.
What about frame sponsors? You started with Proper, then, you know, keep going on your autobiography. What happens after Proper?
Um, well, I was in proper for like 6 years. So like by the time I was like around 22, something like that. But then I felt like I could do more. They weren't doing like a lot of things, and I was trying to like come over here more and like do more projects. I was just felt like I don't know, I wanted something else. And then go to Simple Session 1 year, and that's the year I did the tires switch whip going up the rail.
Yeah.
It was like back then when not a lot of people were doing tire rides at all. I remember even at that contest. But I did it during the practice, and Chad Curley was watching. So I was like my next group or whatever. And when I leave, it's like, wow, stick riding or whatever. Like, do you want to come? I'm doing a contest in May. If you want to come, you're invited. I was like, really? That was a vitamin water contest, you know?
The Chad
So he
Curley
just,
Invitational, yeah?
yeah, he invites me
Sick.
to the thing. So I go, and then I pretty much have like the whole like shadow team was there. Chadwick was there, Simone, like Lashan, like so many crazy people. But yeah, I got to meet like the shadow guys kind of, and then turns out we got along. I was hanging out with them because of Simone and stuff, and it's kind of clicked. Like I felt like, huh, like meeting Chadwick and stuff. It kind of like
Was that
clicked.
the first time that you met Simone? Or had you known
No,
him?
no, Simone I knew him from like back when I was 15 in France and stuff like that.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, we're already homies. And but the funny thing is that after I got on Shadow and Subrosa, I'm talking with Ryan, and then you remember seeing that same trick, the tire switch whip, and he started
Mhm.
like, huh, like who, like when it did that, I don't know, that moment like triggered like, not like he wanted me on the team, but like he's, I don't know, he was like, the, and then 6 months later, I go to the vitamin water contest, and then I meet them, and then boom, 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 it kind of just happened
Boom.
naturally. Yeah,
What came first, Shadow or Subrosa? Or did they
kind
both
of came
come
at the same
together?
time.
Nice.
Yeah, at the same time, I kind of needed the whole like, so it made sense, you know.
That's dope. And so
Mhm.
so began your chapter of life with Shadow and Subrosa that's still
Yeah,
ongoing.
yeah.
And you've been through a bunch of phases of Shadow and Subrosa. I think they keep evolving, the team changes, the filmers come and
Hmm.
go, like myself included, and Chadwick, and like
Yeah.
I don't think there's an in-house filmer anymore for Sparky's
No.
at the moment, right? It's just a
Mm-mm. No.
like per project they hire somebody and
Yeah.
get it going. I think
Thing like that.
Chadwick still does a bunch of stuff for him on,
Yeah.
off and on.
Hmm.
Um, what's been your favorite era of the Shadow Subrosa times? Were you there when Miles was the filmer or Chadwick was already?
No, that was Chadwick. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, it was Chadwick. Well, it was probably after when Mark was on the team. Were you filming still when Mark got on the team? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I think like they
I like that
coincided. I
era.
was leaving, Mark Burnett got on Subrosa, and I never really got to be on a
Yeah.
Subrosa trip with Mark. I think that it happened shortly
Yeah.
after. Yeah.
But yeah, there was the first phase where you were doing the videos. That was kind of sick. And then, yeah, At some point when Mark got on, felt like the team was like complete. Everything was dialed, like with Chadwick, the filming was just like super easy.
Yeah.
That was like kind of like the golden age up to like one, and then life happened.
One.
It was
And then
yeah,
one got the Nora Cup, which is so dope. That's gotta feel
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's pretty crazy. No
Uh
expectations at all. Also,
yeah. And it
yeah,
like let's talk about one because I think that video is awesome and it was filmed not that long of a was it one trip?
yeah.
One trip
Like
and it
2 weeks.
became like a full length
Yeah,
medium half length. I don't know. It's
yeah.
relatively
Everyone
full
like kind
length.
of like at each other part kind of, and they kind of like told us the plan like first
Yeah.
night. So like we didn't know nothing, but they already had the hats, the shirts. The whole idea was there. Gonna
Yeah.
be kind of like a mini like full length. They want to part with everyone. They want each to have a part. Like, wow. Like in 2 weeks, like
In
we knew
two
we had
weeks,
just 2 weeks.
yeah.
It was like best case scenario. It's like and it kind
In
of went. It kind of
Atlanta,
went best
right?
case.
It was
Yeah,
filmed in Atlanta.
yeah. But it kind of went for best case scenario.
Dude, yeah.
Besides Trey, that was like a little hurt. And then when he tried to do something, he like kind of hurt himself again. So he was kind of like struggling a little bit. But
Who got hurt?
after that, Trey kind of like got on the tree because already kind of hurt.
Yeah, shit.
Um,
I gotta rewatch that video, but that's a good one. It's
hmm
to pull off each rider having their own section from a 2 week trip and there being however many riders there are.
hmm
How many? Six, five or six?
It was a decent amount this time because I remember in the van it was like 10 people, like 10 bikes, 10
So crazy,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Chadwick and Ryan were there.
It's
So yeah,
got
it
to
was a
be
lot of
one of the
people.
most productive single trips in BMX history right there. That's so awesome.
Yeah, what are those?
So that's a good era of Shadow and
Hmm
Subrosa.
Yeah.
Uh, who has been your, favorite rider on Shadow or Subrosa, or one from each, or it's all kind of the blended together to be a family at this point. But
Uh-huh.
who's your favorite rider on the Sparky's crew?
Well, definitely say Simone, but I
Yeah,
really like Mark. No, I'm still gonna say Mark.
yeah, Mark's
And then
incredible.
Lashan also, wish I really like Lashan riding. I wish he would ride a little more, but
Yeah, Lashawn's riding is sick.
yeah, just anything he could do, anything. It just looks good. Good.
He's got the swag and he goes
Yeah.
fast and the racer bike control and just the like wild manny 180s. It's dope.
hmm
And he's
Yeah.
got that button, whatever it is that is in your head that
Mm.
you can just be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Which
Yeah.
you also
Also,
have. Like some of the like you've done some rail rides where I'm like, he is risking his life. That shit is so crazy, you know?
yeah.
Let's talk
Yeah. I
about
don't know. At
that.
some point, yeah.
What were you saying? Sorry, at some point?
At some point, yeah. You just the spot is like you can see it happen, or you just want to do it so much that you almost don't even think like the same way. It's like you don't think
Yeah.
it's dangerous because you want to do it so much that like the danger doesn't seem like that big.
Yeah. I love that. And that's kind of how you have to think about it. Like if you
Yeah.
spend that's we've covered this in the past, but I think like the more time you spend thinking about what could go wrong, no pun intended, the
hmm
more time you think about what could go wrong, the more likely something is going to go wrong. Like you have to visualize
Yeah.
landing it and,
Yeah.
respect the fact that things could go wrong, but you're not thinking about that. You visualize
Yeah. Yeah.
it working and making it happen.
hmm Yeah.
So on that note, like what's the clip throughout your riding career that sticks out the most as far as like a mental battle of like, oh fuck, okay, I'm doing this, like, and the scariest thing that you've done,
Yeah.
anything
Well,
pop
I
into
think it's
mind?
definitely there's a few, but the one I remember like feeling like that crazy the most was the one in San Diego, the one by that building that made with the I have a pink shirt. It made the poster like the at the end of one of my shadow videos. It's like a downhill landing, downhill like run up into that white rail and there's like a big ass drop.
Yeah,
Remember this one?
I think I remember this one.
That one I remember just my heart being like boom, boom, boom. Or my head saying like no, no, but my body was I was still like grabbing my back out of the van or just like getting ready. It was like what? I was like I guess it's happening. It's like
You're like,
whoa.
don't do this, and then all of a sudden you're doing it. What video is
Yeah.
that in?
It was called Maya. I think. Yeah, yeah. It's like a longer
Let's see.
one.
Oh yeah, pink shirt. Yep, this is the one that I was picturing myself actually.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show the homies. Let's go here. Here she is. Shoo. Yeah, that's pretty fucking out of this world, dude. That's amazing.
But like that's the best perfect example of like how scary something can be. And when I actually fell, nothing happened. I look at my elbow, I'm barely scratched. See like
Yeah,
here?
let's see it. Yeah.
I was like, what?
You're like, I'm fine. Whoa.
I
That'll
rolled, and then I was like, nothing. So I was like, don't worry about it. Just
just
get it
get her
again. I
done.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think learning how to fall is part of the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that might happen to and you're like a cat. You can land on your feet, you know? But then you got her done.
But
Like
then there
this
was
is
the
this
one
is the
in
part that I'm
Seattle.
curious about.
What?
It's just like what's going through your head right here, you know? Are you
Oh yeah,
thinking in
just
French or are you thinking in English?
no.
When
I'm
you're
definitely thinking in English at that point. Or right there, I wasn't really thinking. I was just like, I
yeah,
was
just
actually like a crazy rush of
just
yeah.
zero.
And it was like a crazy silence because everyone was kind of like scared. So there was like a crazy silence in the street
Yeah.
because there was a lot of people, but you couldn't hear even them and anyone breathe. I was like,
That's like a cinematic moment almost.
yeah. But then
Okay.
I was looking at the building in front of it, and it was called Eureka, and it gave me a little sign. I was like, okay, you got it,
What was it called?
Eureka, Eureka,
Eureka. Give you a
Eureka.
little sign. All right. And then what'd you say about Seattle video?
Yeah, the one on the roof also. That one was like probably definitely higher, but easier rail, so I wasn't like dripping as much, but still it was like 3 4 stories.
Is it Swasty Seattle BMX video from 2 years ago?
No, it was the shadow one also, like full of bliss. I think it was called.
Shadow BMX Seattle. Let's see. Full of bliss. Yeah. It's the ender? Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Oh my god, I remember this one. This is absolutely bonkers. Let's show the people again. Yep, this is the one. Yeah, tell me the story about this one.
Yeah, it's kind of oh yeah, story because I ended up doing that 180 bar 5 times,
Whoa.
and then having to deal with the gap 5 times because I had Colton I was filming and Oder was there too, Mike and Colton,
Yeah.
and then but I wanted different angles to give it justice, and then Colton got on top of the other building, I guess like slightly taller
Yeah.
to get a like angle like that to see the depth of the building, but every time he kind of like framed the clip perfect. Like, it framed me perfect, but you couldn't really see the drop. And
Wait
I
a
was like
second. You're
trying,
telling me that you did this tire ride to 180 bar 5 times? This
yeah,
death defying banger, this thing?
just yeah, because at
What?
first I did three, and then I was like three is kind of boring,
You
so I
did
did
this?
180.
You did this shit 5 times?
Yeah,
That's fucking insane.
until we get this angle that would show
Oh
the
my
depth.
god.
Because he was up
Wow,
there,
bro. Yeah, I see him up there.
but
Dude.
it was like I could have technically gone to the end of the rail because it was that easy of a rail,
Yeah.
but I was
Don't risk
like
that.
now there would be chances for me to like rip me
Yeah.
off the
That's
side.
when you start getting greedy. That's when shit goes wrong.
Exactly.
Man, I cannot believe you did this shit 5 times.
I know that's something if you don't know, but wow.
Makes
I was
my
starting to worry. I was like, now I'm playing with fire.
Yeah, you can see like you're leaning
Yeah,
over like it's,
just on and off. Yeah, it is too much.
just making my stomach hurt thinking about doing that shit, bro. That is nuts. That's mind over matter big time right there. Because that is, like a relatively chill thing to do, especially
Yeah,
if I was at like a skate park or something. But
yeah.
the danger factor on that left side is so
hmm
sus, man. Well, those
And
are
I found a
pretty,
spot
yeah.
by myself.
You
Found a
found that
spot by
spot by
myself,
yourself?
yeah, kind of like exploring Seattle, and it was so good that I almost like was gonna film it by myself, And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? That's not the kind of spot I want to film by myself. So I
How
like,
did how did you find it?
uh,
It looks like it's on top of a roof. Were you just looking up and
it
you
was just like
saw?
like something that led me to something that led me to like going back this building, like a ball jam, like and then stupid, and then I went around the building, and then I could see the top of the roof, and wow.
You look up and you're like, "There's a rail up there." How did you end up getting on that
No, because
roof?
the road was going up, and then behind the building, so I was like kind of like leveled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Word.
because
So like the
Seattle
top
was
of the
kind of like
building you could see from the
yeah
road.
from
Okay.
where the parking.
I was picturing it just being like a regular flat city and this is a tall building and you're on top of it, but
Yeah,
that makes a little bit more
no,
sense.
Seattle's kind of like yeah, San Francisco
You've been all
a
over the
lot.
place, man. Tell me about your time in Seattle. Like what I mean, we're kind of jumping all over. Actually, let's go
Yeah.
back to your autobiography.
Hmm.
So you went through the Nike days, then you got on Shadow and Subrosa. You've been on them for 10 years. I mean, are we skipping? I'm sure we're skipping over some shit, but what? Tell me more about your journey through this BMX life. God, that sounds corny, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, but yeah, like you're saying, there's so much stuff that I realized recently that I don't even try to remember everything. You know, like you'll be all right, I forget. So like you try to remember things, but I gave up. Like,
I'm with
just
you.
way too many. Yeah.
You just gotta live day by day, dude. I
Mm-hmm.
can't.
If I get
I'd
to
start
remember
beating myself
something,
up.
yeah.
I can't remember,
So
and then I'm like, fuck it. Wasn't must not have been that important.
exactly. But then yeah, going to India with Nike was actually kind of cool. That balance video was also with Nike.
Yes.
They ended up paying for the whole trip, and yeah, during the later years, like 20, at the end of Nike, pretty much that's when I was traveling a lot, the most,
Yeah.
and that was kind of cool. Like, I ended up moving back at my mom's at some point because I was traveling so much that I was paying rent for not being there most of the time.
Right.
But I wasn't seeing her that much. So it was like kind of nice to go back. So for like a year or two, I was like over there and like traveling all the time
Fire.
up until I mean travel, and that kind of brings us here to like getting stuck here. That's traveling so much.
So tell me about getting stuck here.
Well, I was doing a lot of back and forth because I was dating this girl, and at some point, yeah, COVID happened. I couldn't fly back. So
Say
when
that
I was
again.
like,
Sorry. You couldn't fly
COVID
back?
happened.
Oh,
COVID
COVID happened and
happened.
you
COVID
and you
started.
were here in the States.
Yeah, when I was here in the States and I
Yeah.
was here, I was supposed to go back. So that's the one time also where I grabbed the least amount of stuff from with me because I knew I was gonna go back to France.
Yeah.
So I packed super light,
Shit.
and I'm still here. So all my stuff is there.
You haven't
But
gone back since COVID started. You've been here in America
yeah,
since then.
yeah.
Wow. That's
I landed
wild.
in LA March 8th. And
Shit.
my
March
mom knew
8th,
it.
2020? Yeah, because that was when it started,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. No, but she was like, yeah, I don't think you should go. There's something happening in China, blah blah. But I was like on my way to the airport. I was like, yeah, I don't know. Checked out.
Shut up, mom. And then mom's right,
Change
dude.
everything. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's so crazy to
Yeah.
think about the past couple of years and how insane it's been and all
Hmm.
the lockdowns. And you went to California, I think, where right? That's where you were?
Yeah. Well, I avoided all of it because I was yeah in California when it started, but that's when quick after like we ended up moving to Seattle where it was pretty chill.
Nice.
And then by the time everything was started opening up again, that's when we moved back to California. So like I feel like I've avoided the whole thing like all the time, the whole time.
Good job. Just
Yeah.
swerving.
Yeah. Perfect. I was
Where
thinking about it. I was like, oh,
what were you thinking?
that yeah, I don't know how I would have felt like in France because it was like the worst. And
Yeah.
I know like not being able to ride. I feel like I would have gotten like so many tickets just trying to do like the not being on the same.
Yeah, dude. I
Yeah,
can't.
like luckily I was on this side because
So you think in France, if you were to ride, you would get like tickets from the police? They would say, "Go back inside," like
yeah, at
that.
least I
That
heard
hardcore.
Barcelona. Yeah, at least I
That's
know in Barcelona they were getting tickets for walking around the city. Just two people, like I think Anthony told me like they pulled him for walking with his girlfriend. They got a ticket. They had to walk like
wow.
separate.
They enforce the 6 feet apart with a couple. Like, sorry, you can't be
Yeah,
this close to your girlfriend.
just anyone. They were just giving out tickets for like It was crazy.
That's gross, dude. I hate that.
Yeah,
But
but
glad it's over.
yeah,
It's a
I
little,
didn't get to see it.
yeah. Well, yeah. I guess you're right. You lucked out being in the United States while the shit was so heavy and not in
Hmm.
France and Barcelona. Like the
Yeah,
yeah, from what I heard, the lockdowns were pretty severe over there. And I
yeah,
mean, they weren't severe here, but they did happen. I remember, dude. Remember when it was just 2 weeks to stop the spread? Like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then it went on for a year and a half. In
Hmm.
Arizona, it never got too gnarly.
Yeah,
You know, there was nobody giving you tickets for being too
yeah.
close together, but it was
Just masks everywhere.
the masks everywhere, which now they're saying they didn't do anything, which is like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for all
Thanks.
that.
That was nice.
That's very nice of you guys. So that's wild that you've been here since. I mean, what? And then I think that's when you started pushing yourself to do the Patreon and create your own content and like really taking
Hmm.
control of your content while you're here. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I
That was
mean,
the
tell me
best.
about that. What prompted that? Like, what was your situation like? And yeah,
Well, it's just that I was like so happy. I mean, I was that's when I was in Seattle also, so I was just same thing, exploring a new city, so being like constantly writing and filming and but mostly on the phone. I wish I had a camera this whole time so I could have made like more legit edit, even though I did them, but they were like filmed on the phone, so like it doesn't have the
yeah,
same. But that's just that being like out there, just like how to do something with the content, like just being productive in general.
yeah.
I guess it was a phase because that's when I started Swasty also this whole year in 2019, and it was like picking up pretty good. I was doing a lot of content also for that, so yeah,
That's
and
dope. I'm
yeah,
proud of you, man. You
thanks, bro.
took lemons and made lemonade, if you will.
Yeah, and use the peel, and you can use the you
Yeah,
can use everything.
yeah. And make
The
some. What would you make out of a lemon peel? Make some sort of
scented
art.
candle. I don't know,
Yeah, scented
something.
candle. Nice.
Or you can
Perfect
dry
answer.
them and make some tea later.
Yo, I really like that shirt you're wearing. I gotta get me one of them.
Oh yeah, that's the
That's
oh
fire.
yeah.
Let's talk about
Mm-hmm.
Subrosa and design. Like, is there anything cool
Mm-hmm.
coming out? And do you have any? I'm sure you have input with, especially with your own stuff. But like,
Mm-hmm.
anything exciting coming this year from Subrosa?
Well, for now they're kind of like same thing on a little pause with like producing and everything because there's a lot of like stuff going on with like selling the parts like the industry in general is like kind of like going crazy.
Yeah,
So that they were telling us they're not gonna like do too many like we're not gonna get a new seed this year. They have like such they have a big inventory that has to go through and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that can just be on hold. So
yeah,
this year they kind of like readjust everything, but the bars are definitely still on the way, which is I'm pretty excited. People are really asking for them, but I guess everything's a little delayed. Like it
yeah.
takes time for everything.
It's kind of at a
But
weird. I don't know if it's like recession, but tough times in the BMX industry.
yeah,
It seems like there's not many companies that are like actively spending a bunch of money on trips and doing
yeah,
shit like that. In fact, it's the opposite. People are firing their videographers and like cutting
yeah,
cutting costs left and right and just leaving it to
yeah,
the riders to just be Instagram, billboards
yeah,
basically. Um, which it is what
yeah.
it is, dude. It's crazy. Technology comes and just disrupts everything. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was talking with
I feel like the
somebody
budget
about
is really yeah, I really can afford it. Also, it's like I feel like there might be even the market might be saturated. There's too much stuff out there, too much parts, too
yeah,
much like. Because I would see like a kid that would buy my signature seat like 1 year, the following year there's a new one. Imagine he buys it in like November. There's a new one coming in March. He's
yeah,
not gonna buy the new one because he just got the old one. But
right,
then they paid a lot of money to make it. And then next year again, and then now we have like a series of 5 seat. People are still riding the second one, So it's like there's
for
two,
real.
but you spend the margin, the negative margin is like massive because you spend a lot of money in creating, developing, and the sales are not even there. So
It's a
it's
big
like double
investment
loss.
and you just
Yeah,
lose money on it, yeah.
yeah,
And
because it
then
doesn't sell at all.
you add that up with multiple parts and
Every
multiple things
brands,
and
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
shit, that could
The
add
market
up.
is like saturated with like just, and people can already afford it, but they already have the shit. They hang on to it. Like
Yeah.
that'd be a big reason, big part of it. Yeah.
I want to talk about your, like, I guess, outlook on life. You've lived such a unique life compared to a lot of people, just, normal folks who like grow
Mm-hmm.
up, go to college, get a job, and you've lived this wild, like, doing what you love and
Mm-hmm.
getting good at it, and then getting to travel the world on other people's dime and experience so much shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine you would trade this life for much else. Like, that seems like it's been a good one, from what I can
Yeah.
tell. I'm sure, like, you and I have talked, like, off the pod about like ups and downs, and it's not always sunshine and rainbows and traveling and
Yeah.
having fun. There's some hardship that happens.
Yeah.
I guess the question there would be, what would you tell your younger self, if you could go back in time and talk to 16-year-old Joris? What would you tell him?
Oh, but that's actually the thing. I was gonna say, like, recently someone was telling me, would you rather get $10 million now, or go back in time with the same knowledge that you have now, or just like so you can change things? It's like, just give me $10 million now. Like, there's nothing I
Yeah,
want to change. I don't need to, like. So, like, tying with your question, like, I don't feel like I would even tell my younger self anything, because it would change who I am now, and I'm so satisfied with who I am now that I wouldn't want to touch it. It's
solid.
like,
I love that.
even all the mistakes are now the reason that I understand. And I, because without doing any mistakes, you just might do good, but you're just actually blindly going around. You don't
Yeah,
know, and then you
exactly.
make it. And the harder the mistake, the more you're gonna burn yourself, the more you're gonna know for real, like, what fire is capable of, and, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
And then
fire.
you can teach it. I don't know, so I wouldn't change really anything. It's actually, I come to realize, with so much stuff happening, that you can see a pattern. Like, most people, they live like a quiet life. So, like, there's one thing happening, they lose someone. In good and bad, there's only a few things that happen, kind of. So you can
Yeah.
barely see any pattern. But, like, there's so much stuff going on, then you can see, like, oh, that's what's going on. Like, every time I did something super good, there was something super bad, or you can see a pattern of, like, how things works.
Yeah. A more
Um,
broad, like, I guess what you're saying is perspective, because, like, for some
mhm.
people, like, the one bad thing happens to them and it's like the worst thing that's ever happened to them. They're crying and freaking out for months, and it, like,
Yeah, yeah,
devastates them. But, like, with the perspective of having been through, thousands of ups and downs, like, you get it, like, you're just riding the wave. I have
yeah,
that
yeah,
on a sticky note
yeah.
somewhere in my house. Just ride the wave. It's all part of the
Mhm.
process. Like,
Yeah,
even when you're in low times, like, just, I constantly know in the back of my mind, like, it is gonna all be all right, and I'll get
yeah,
myself back to,
yeah.
the other side of the equation, yin and yang,
Like,
and
yeah, when you surf, at some point you're, like, in the wave, just killing it, and at some point you're, like, just crash under
underwater.
the wave, like,
Yeah.
and it's only a matter of time to, like, you emerge again, and you catch another one, and, like, boom, boom, boom. But it's also not knowing that this is going on. You suffer through the whole process. But when you know it's going on, you just do your best. You work to get out of the water and get on the board, and, like,
Yeah, it's like a detached perspective. You look at
yeah,
where you are and you're like, well, I guess I'm under the water right now, but you're not, like,
yeah,
emotionally triggered by it, like,
yeah,
obviously you feel feelings, but you're aware. Having that
yeah,
awareness in the back of your mind is huge.
yeah,
Uh, Tell
and
me
yeah.
about a low time that you've been through and what you learned from it.
Um, there's so many low times, but yeah, because with that perspective, like, even if it was, like, low times, like, somehow, like, I've always, like, I had a good time in one sense,
Yeah.
like. And usually, like, the lower the time, like, actually was compensating. It was, like, balancing with, like, the fact that I was, like, out here, or I don't know, like, just different breakups recently, or relationship, like, not going well, and, like, moving around, losing stuff, like, it was, like, triggering, like, it was hard, like, physically, but then I was like, wow, I'm just learning about new places, like, exploring more, like, there was, like, so many good things that would actually instantly just cancel it. Like, I would be in a bad spot, and I would just leave the house on my bike, and I was like, wow, yeah, it's nice out, it's open, it's like, I don't know, it's like there's so much stuff to be grateful for still.
For real. That's huge.
So
Just being
so I was like,
grateful kind of
and
helps.
realizing it, was like, well, what's going wrong now is actually the price to pay to, in order to, like, leave that kind of stuff. Like, the fact that I decided to stay on this side. That's why most people, they stay in their own base, because it's, like, hard to, like, leave the comfort zone, and, like, yeah, it takes a lot to go live in another country, kind of. Like,
Yeah. It's a
You lose a lot.
big, huge like
Yeah.
move, dude. That's
And then the
kind of
more
crazy.
time goes on, the more you realize there's a lot of stuff that changes. Like it's not just you go there and then it's gonna be it. There's nothing to think about. It's like
That's pretty solid. So, what is the advice that you would give to somebody who's in a low point? What would you like? Hey, Joris, I'm really sad. I just went through a breakup, and I don't know. I drink too much, and I'm out of shape, and
actually you
I
do get
hate
a
myself.
lot
What do
of
you say?
those.
You get a lot of messages like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Most people that reach out are more for like
mental health.
insights or just to talk mental, just like just some yeah. Sometimes it's actually said like that, like I'm doing really bad, blah blah blah. Or sometimes it's just more like I can tell.
Yeah,
And then yeah, that's kind of cool. Usually I emphasis I don't know, talk about the fact that it's all temporary. Like and I did not what I was saying, like not to let it affect you because you need to like do the necessary to get out of it, like or just to keep going. Like and we all learn it from riding bikes, you know. And most of the times, like bikers are kind of successful at all the things they do because like just have a way of doing things, very artsy. But when you think of a trick you want to do, like you end up on the floor for like an hour trying it, and then you when you land it, it's like 5 seconds. But it's for an hour, you don't realize that you're dirty, bleeding. That's not the end goal. The end goal is like it's the trick when it's done. You know, like it's
yes,
pretty much that this attitude. Like when you're down, it's like think you're working on it.
yeah,
It's not because it looks perfect that you should be disappointed. Like you're working on it. It's okay to be on the floor. It's okay to like get a shinner and like start bleeding. Usually when you're trying to do a trick, you grab the bike and you just try it again right there. You know,
yeah,
when you're bleeding, it's like so if you have this mentality like in life, like trying things like for work, for like in your life, partners, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work right away,
yeah. And that
and
gives
it's
a
okay
lot
to
of credit to
ah
the cliche. It is cliche, but like it's not how many times you fall down. It's just getting back up. And
yeah.
you're right. That comes from learning tricks on a BMX bike. Like if you
Hmm.
can conquer learning tail whips in on a bike and go through that much pain and eating shit and still and
Hmm.
then you get to the end of that process and now you have tail whips, like you can apply that to literally anything in life. Like
Yeah,
you put your
and
mind
I see
to
it.
something and go through the bleeding and the falling
Hmm.
metaphorically, and as long as you have that end goal in mind, like you'll get there.
Hmm.
But I think what
Yeah,
you said in the middle of that is so important because it's you can't just like let yourself be paralyzed in your self-pity and sorrow. Like you have to keep doing shit. You
yeah,
know what you have to do to get out of this hole, so
yeah,
take one little baby step at a time and get out of it,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
I was just somebody hit me up about anxiety yesterday actually, and I thought they're like I think anxiety is just part of the human experience, and a lot of it comes from like your brain knowing that you're doing some shit wrong. So address those things and like
yeah.
go head on into it.
Yeah,
Like
be easy. You got to be easy on yourself first. Like one step
yeah,
at a time. It's okay to fail. Yeah, it's like don't put so much pressure on himself. I mean, we're taught to like put pressure on ourselves, but
yeah.
not. Yeah,
It's like why?
yeah. Like
This kind of
sometimes
makes me
actually,
I want to ask you about Hare Krishna and the
yeah.
teachings of that. But first, let's pause real quick and we'll come back to Hare Krishna. Hold on, pause 1 second. Hare Krishna. How did you
Hare
first find out
Krishna.
about it? What are the teachings? If you could summarize the main lesson of what you've learned in that cult, just kidding. In that world.
That works. Like
What
culture. Gotta
Yeah, I
remember.
like that. That's a good spin on culture.
Hmm.
Um, what's if because it is there's something magical about chanting. I think that that's real.
Yeah,
That triggers something primal in us. Like like
it's like
Irish people in a
unifies
pub
us.
when they all sing. That's one thing
Hmm.
Americans don't really have is like singing together, unless you go to church and then you get it.
Yeah,
But like Irish dudes in a pub are all gonna like sing songs together, and there's something like truly
yeah.
like
As a
hardwired in
kid,
our
we do it
brain to
more
react
also.
to it. Yeah. So talk to me
Yeah.
about Hare Krishna.
Well, I found it just by finding the book when I went to India the first time, by finding the Bhagavad Gita. But
What's the book
it
called? It's called the
started
Bhagavad Gita. What's it called?
Bhagavad,
Bhagavad
Ba- Bhagavad Gita,
Bhagavad Gita.
which means technically the song of God. Gita would be the song that we're singing, and Bhagavan. is a term forgotten. But everything was kind of pointing towards India when I was like at first like started traveling and just learning from my own experiences and school, and I went to school for like a long time. But just everything together, at some point everything was like pointing towards like India. Whenever it was like talks about spirituality or specific things like Atma, the soul, or the chakras, or yoga. There's only one word for yoga. The French word is yoga. The English word is yoga.
Yeah.
There's only whatever, like it came from there. So I just decided like just go and see what was it about. So I went on a vacation trip just with my ex at the time, and yeah, and I found the book like the first night. It was sitting on a nightstand at the hotel, very first night in New Delhi. And just opening the book, and I knew it. I was like, wow. First, I felt like it was the answer to everything. There's the way it was like written, the pictures, name of the chapters, everything. A few in a glance, I was like, yeah, this is it. Like,
This is the
and then I
book.
realized this is the reason why I came to India. So this is what I came to look for, kind of.
Hold that thought.
And
Hold your microphone away from your hair. It keeps hitting your hair. Or move your
oh
hair
yeah,
back. Yeah. There you go. Boom. Better.
but
So Bhagavad
Bhagavad,
Gita.
yeah,
It's the book.
yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I just started reading it by myself. I mean, I got a copy later on the trip, and I read it by myself once and then twice. I never used to like reading or just read that much. I was always more like outside, just doing something. But I couldn't stop reading. Like that thing was like food for the soul, like or
Yeah. It's like
like I was thirsty
finding
and
your Bible
yeah,
in a way.
yeah,
It's not the Bible, but it could be it's the good book for you.
yeah. So it's just the approach is like people have a hard time like talking about the absolute or like something absolute like a religion or something like it sounds too authoritarian or whatever, but
Yeah.
something it does exist though. It's like there's stuff that we know, even like the like rules like gravity or the fact that we live on earth, like there's some stuff you cannot change. There are just rules that or just stuff that you do with like in but yeah, there's literally, for example, like a chapter that's called the absolute truth, but like the way it's written, like you can tell, I could tell at first, like it's not even a human that wrote that. Like it was like, yeah, it envelopes like everything. Like it's almost like you would not find like a loophole or like a flaw or the perfect mix between like science and religion. Actually, it's not even considered like a religion. Religion would be Hinduism, and even Hinduism being like a made up kind of like religion has like limits to it.
You're making me want to read this book. So tell me about, like, you're saying it's talking about absolute truths, things that are just undeniably true no matter what, right?
Hmm.
And then how did it guide you? Did it guide you? And what
Yeah.
was like your initial
Well, at that
takeaways
point,
when you
when I
first
found the
got into
book,
it?
already I just came to the same understanding, consciousness in a sense, but it wasn't as clear as what I would say in the book. It just gave way more depth and like perspective and like perfection, because like the way it says, like you could not come up with like the same phrases or the same way it's said.
Yeah.
But it really just actually described everything to in a way that you can understand it. Like it's so obvious, and we already know it in a sense, but it's kind of like revealing that knowledge about like who you are. Everyone's asking like, who are we? Or like with philosophical, religious like questions, like just plainly just like explain like in a way that's like wow, like yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, I'm sure. I
But
mean, I'm not, yeah, like I can't expect you to like quote from the Bhagavad
especially
Gita,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it sounds like you're saying you had a general grasp of what you
Hmm.
thought things are and who we are and your general like world outlook and your perspective on where we are and what we are in the universe. And then reading that book, it kind of like you're like, oh, this is what I've been thinking. Just well put, like they
Yeah,
wrote it. So it's so
like
wild to think about like all the thousands and thousands of years that humans have been like looking up at the sky and trying to figure out, these
mhm.
questions, like who are
Yeah,
we? Why are we here? All that shit. So, um,
that's because they like I said, they describe everything, and then for that. I think the knowledge in general, they talk about like ascending knowledge and descending knowledge. There's information that we can gather from our like experience through our senses, eyes, whatever our senses, you gather information, but there's descending knowledge. There's information that are you don't gather from your knowledge, you have to accept them.
Interesting. So give me an
Rules that, yeah.
example.
Kind of like I said, like universal rules like that, or the fact that you're not the body and your soul is detached from that. That's kind of like a knowledge that you don't have to accept it. Like it's so fine, you cannot measure the soul. That's why they've been fighting it. That's why they don't want to accept the fact that we are the soul and not the body. We live eternally and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they haven't found the soul, but by
Right.
default, the soul is like antimatter. So if you measure it with a material object like a telescope or whatever that's material, you're not going to see it. Even with your eyes, you couldn't see it because you have it's like actually material eyes made out of matter.
Yeah.
But the sense of sight exists transcendentally of your body. It's like, so there's descending knowledge that like they're there. You can just realize them. And it's going to be hard for me to tell you until you like experience it and like, oh, yeah, I'm not this body. Like I'm the same person that I was like when I was 5 years old, but I have a new body now. So you see,
Okay.
you have to
So
realize it.
that's so an example of descending knowledge is the concept of your soul and you know, the difference between your soul and your physical being. That's
Hmm.
descending knowledge. What about
Yeah.
ascending knowledge? That would be learning how to speak a language or like how to talk to people. What's an example of ascending knowledge in this case?
Anything, just like take it to the basics, like using our senses, because they talk about the senses as being knowledge gathering senses. So like we have eyes, touch, sight, taste, hearing, so we can get information from the world. So
Yeah.
our soul can move about. And if you look at something, oh, it's red, it's round, blah blah. So it might be a tomato, but then if you want to taste what it's like, you have to put it in your mouth. But then when you looked at it, smelled it, touched it, whatever, tasted it, then you get a full spectrum, the full information about the
Yeah.
object. So
And
then you can experience with it accordingly. Like, and then when you meet someone, same thing. You see them from afar, you get close, you get a sense of smell. You might touch them, and then whatever, you might kiss them,
yeah,
taste, and then you get a full spectrum of the person. And
that's
talk,
dope.
mind.
Let's
So,
let's talk about consciousness and what your views on it are. I know that like at the top level of science and philosophy, biology at this point, like there's consciousness is a problem. Like what is consciousness? Does every living thing have it? Like I've heard people talk about like consciousness is just this vast web that exists whether we're here or not, and we kind of
mhm,
tap into it, and that's what gives us consciousness. I've heard people like say that it's not necessarily like Sam Harris is pretty hardcore with like there's no free will. We're all just kind of like wet. What do they call it? Wet hardware or wetware,
mhm,
like
yeah.
software, hardware,
Oh
wetware
yeah,
is our
where?
brain. And
But that's the funny thing because we approach it with this dual mind instead of an absolute mind, and which is because we're in a relative world. Everything is relative, and that's relative is the opposite of absolute. And so we think in terms of like black and white, good or bad. So like, is it fate, or do I have free will? It's actually a mix of both. Like whatever I did in the past determines the present moment, but what I do now determines the future. So I am bound by my karmic reactions from the past. That's what I have now, but at the very present second, I can change it. So I have a slight free will and
yeah,
also the accumulation, like fate, like it was meant to happen kind of deal. Like it's a mix of both, and we keep it's like the egg or the chicken, like what came first.
yeah,
Both the chicken and egg it exist eternally. Like it's a concept, like it's stupid to even think like because we can't get out of that. Yes, no, yeah, who started it? Like they were
right.
on one.
It's impossible to answer that chicken or the egg question.
Yeah, that's why. Like, and that's the same question with like God and stuff like that because we approach it with that relative mind. Like when we talk about something as absolute and transcend like what we know, kind of like. Oh yeah, but for consciousness, no, you were saying like the way they talk about it is like as being the symptoms of the soul. So like wherever there is soul, there's life force. You'll find consciousness. Like even in a plant, like the plant will grow if the sun is over there. the plane will grow like towards the sun or the water, or they even talk plants now. They make
Yeah,
tests like trees
dude.
talk to each other. That's symptoms of having a consciousness. So that's a symptom of having a soul.
I love that.
And yeah, and then that net that you were talking about, that's because actually life is alive, alive. Like the earth is a bigger being, the universe is a bigger being. So that net is actually like yeah, everywhere. Kind of.
So
There's like
consciousness is everywhere.
yeah,
I really like
yeah.
that theory of it just being everywhere. It's not necessarily that's something that's like developed in your brain, because that's one thing like if consciousness is in our brain, where is it? And can you turn it off, you
No,
know?
it's like all pervading. It's like in the atoms. It's
Yeah.
like but there's one that's like attached to my soul, kind of. It moves with my body. You know, it's like my hands right now are moving with the my consciousness.
Yeah. It's so wild
And a
to
good
think about.
example is like a table doesn't have a consciousness or a soul. It's plain matter, like a human shaped the food into a table, and the table by itself doesn't move, but it can move when if I move it around. So it's my soul that's using my body through my consciousness, like to move the table. That's like inert, you know.
Yeah.
The movement is also a symptoms, but
So
type of like
symptoms of a soul is consciousness. I like that.
yeah.
I like that a lot.
And they
That's
also
cool.
use the sun and the sunshine. Like the sun would be the soul, and the sunshine would be the consciousness, all pervading, kind of like
Oh,
emanating from
that's a
the
great
sun. You know?
analogy too.
Yeah.
Where so and I mean, obviously there's a lot more to Hare Krishna than so if I'm referring to it, did I just use that right? Or is Hare Krishna just like the chant and the thought is the Bhagavad Gita? Fuck.
Bhagavad.
Bhagavad
You have to
Gita.
like see it for a while.
Yeah. Bhagavad Gita. Is that if I'm referring to this uh book, or not the book, but
Yeah.
this
They usually say
group,
Krishna consciousness.
Krishna
It's like
consciousness. Okay.
yeah,
And where does
for
the
short.
chanting come into play? I've been on trips with you where you have your prayer beads, and
Yeah.
you're the first person who taught me how that works, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like you just count them and
Yeah, right.
like get your mind centered. I love that, dude. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how does that come into play, and how does that help you? And would you recommend getting some prayer beads to everybody?
Yeah. Well, that definitely. Even if it was any other mantras, because like first it's just the mechanism. It's like really helping, but it's like nowadays meditation is kind of taken like as thinking about nothing, like it's like the new concept. But I had to like learning that um, culture that like there's another meaning of meditation, and the main meaning is to think about something. So like if I'm cooking, I'm meditating on the food. You know, like in my mind, I'm shaping. I'm having a picture, writing. Like when you do a trying to do a trick, pretty much everything. When a painter,
Yeah.
you visualize something, and like it's like even you could like etymology, like medium, media, like meditate. I don't know. It's like it's looking at something, thinking about something.
Yeah.
So the mantra is literally meditating, where on the sound. That's why you have the beats. It helps like because the mind goes like the route, you know, like
Yeah.
if you're trying to chant it in your head like that, after like 10 seconds, you're already thinking about you're already on Instagram or you know,
Right.
you lose track. But because you have the beads, like they keep coming, you know, you roll them through your finger, and there's always another beat, so it helps like reminding the
Keep
body by
you
using body and mind, yeah, keep you in track. And then after a while, just like it gets you on a certain frequency, because those sounds are like also frequency, and those mantras are like like pearls. That's why they have that line, the way you write Sanskrit. They talk about them like pearls hanging on the thread, the
huh.
letters, and
Yeah.
you arrange them in a certain series of like it makes a perfect sound.
That
So there's
explains
like
the writing that
yeah,
I've seen. That's interesting to think about.
yeah, that's why they
Like
call them sutras. And
sutras.
sutras like suture, when you do suture or you sewing.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
the word has like the same root, kind of. It's crazy.
So there's a lot of, meaning even behind how the writing looks. That means
Yeah,
something. Like this shit is
exactly.
deep.
Even all the letters, if you go down to like the way they're written, if you break it down, like it's crazy. It was like, yeah, an actual science. That's when you can tell they were actually super elevated, like back then. Like, and they talk about thousands of years ago, millions of years ago, human beings and like civilizations, even more developed. Like, it's like it's kind of crazy, like another world.
It is crazy.
Yeah, but yeah.
So for a beginner, young kid out there who's never even heard of Hare Krishna, what's the first step to start learning about it or exploring it? And
I think
also,
yeah,
what's a good beginning meditation or a good chant or what's a good practice to start? Where do you learn about it? And then what's a good thing
yeah.
to just start implementing into your daily life?
I feel like first would be to try and read the Bhagavad Gita for sure, because it's written in a way that anyone can understand it, and there's like a progression in the book where like if you read it page one to like last page, it brings your head like it's kind of like taking DMT pretty much, but without the physical aspect of like wow freaking out. Like
Right.
it's like the whole book is like a guided meditation that brings your consciousness to like break through, like to get out of this material like plane. It might take a while. Some people read it in like a long time, but it's also like I said, written in a way that like you can relate. Like it's easy
Yeah. That's great.
because yeah, and then
So read the book.
chanting, but yeah, and then chanting, but that comes with like reading the book because they talk about it in the book. That way you actually get an idea of like oh the chanting, what it is.
Yeah, I think doing anything in general is a lot easier, and I'm more motivated to do it once I read about like the benefits of it. Like that
Yeah,
even applies to like eating food. Once I started studying like the benefits of the vitamin C in avocado, or
yeah,
some nutrient that's in a certain food, and then
yeah,
how it affects your body and makes you better. I'm like, oh fuck yeah! And then I want to go eat an
yeah,
avocado and salt and pepper and just eat
yeah.
a raw avocado. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're good, but like it's not something I remember like when I had to
Their
train.
medicine too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
using that's huge, dude. Using your
Mm-hmm.
food as medicine can change your life.
Yeah.
And so the same thing applies to the chanting. I would love to read about like what
Mm-hmm.
benefits that has on your brain before I start practicing chanting.
Yeah,
How
exactly. Yeah, because then it like sharpens your meditation. Now you're meditating on something. You do the chanting, but you know what you're doing. You're not
yeah.
blindly chanting. It's like it helps more.
And I think what you were talking about earlier with just being mindful of what you're doing is kind of a meditation. Like if you're cooking, it's not necessarily, I guess it is a form of meditation, but I was looking for the word and it's called mindfulness, like just being
Mm-hmm.
aware of what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
Happens to me when I'm like, if I'm driving and then I realize that I'm driving and start thinking about the fact that I'm driving, like then just you're just being mindful. You're not acting
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
robot going through your day. You're just
Mm-hmm.
like aware of what you're doing, which is a powerful
Yeah.
thing in itself. It's not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
like
Slow down. You can like move.
sit and meditate, but just being mindful is
Mm-hmm.
pretty powerful shit.
Yeah.
Had you been religious before finding Hare Krishna? Like how were you raised?
No. No. I wasn't even baptized. Like I remember just my mom always saying like that's something that you'll decide when one day if you want to do it or something. It was really open, and I
I
feel like it was
respect
a good
that.
factor in like me like finding this path because it was like actually open.
Yeah.
Left the door open for me. But yeah, pretty like not actually pretty most likely like anti-religion because I didn't like the idea of religion, and still like it's like it's like it's called spirituality, but it's actually on a material plane. Like the rules are more important than the content.
Yeah.
It's like there's no heart. They lost the soul. Like there's no soul. People don't want to go to a church if you don't make it attractive, and it's because there's no life in it. So like otherwise people would go in this movement. Like you see, a lot of people go, and it's so joyful. There's so many colors. People are having fun and like still being sober. It's like they're not hiding in anything. It's like
It
it's
does look
attractive. Like
really fun. You see
it's so
like a
attractive,
group of
and
Hare
you easily get
Krishna.
caught up. Like in a couple of years, I was completely sober. Like for 2 years, I was like I didn't drink, I wasn't smoking. I barely had like a vape, a jewel, or something like that. But like no tobacco, no weed.
Yeah.
But I didn't even try. It just faded out of my life because I was actually practicing a lot, like going all the tempo and stuff like that.
Mm.
Just
Just
gone.
finding joy from chanting, dancing. Because I think that's
Yeah,
part of it, right? Like there's a lot of
yeah,
dancing and just letting yourself be free and
yeah,
you're moving
exactly.
and there's
Hmm.
that's got to feel pretty liberating. Because
Yeah, and you can only do it over there because no one is there for themselves. Like when you go out, everyone is there for themselves, like trying to show themselves. And when you go to the temple, everyone's there for Krishna and not for themselves. So they're not looking at you. They don't care if you sing bad or whatever. Like they
yeah,
know you do it for like to participate, and it's done for like as a service Krishna, whatever, so that you don't feel that social anxiety or social like
Yeah.
yeah,
Which
no
is
pressure.
huge. And that
Yeah.
applies to other things too. I think like a lot of kids are nervous to go to the skate park because they're embarrassed because they're bad. But similar to
Yeah.
like a lot of people are like afraid to go to the gym because they're just
Hmm.
preemptively being embarrassed because they're not as in
Yeah.
shape as the other people at the gym. But
To
really
go to
like
yoga and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, in yoga class and shit like that. But
Yeah.
like everybody there, even if you're like a master level yogi, you're there for yoga, and you're supposed
Yeah.
anybody that's in like
Yeah.
if somebody's making fun of a fat person who's in the gym, you're a piece of shit. Like that's you're in the
Exactly.
right place, dude. Like
They did the most like yeah test like the biggest part
yeah,
was that to come.
everybody's rooting for you if anything. And honestly,
Hmm.
probably not even thinking about you. They're focused on giving to,
Yeah.
whatever it
So I
is the
realized because I started doing yoga also, and I was like worried about that. And then at some point, I was like, you know what? Like no one's caring. No one cares because they're
yeah,
struggling
nobody.
doing their own shit. Like if they're
Exactly.
sweating, they're like struggling.
How
Just
long have you
nice
been?
to.
When did you start practicing yoga, and did you notice an effect on your riding from
Well, I've
yoga?
always done a little bit just by myself, but never like actual classes. And I just started doing the classes here in Miami uh,
Nice,
with my girlfriend Nikki because she's a teacher,
sick.
and that helps a lot. The fact that she's the teacher, like I knew, was like, oh, might actually be the thing that helps me like actually start. And they're like it's a nice yoga studio, that like top yoga studio in Miami at the moment or something like that, or one of the top yoga
Dope.
studios
Good for
with
her.
with a nice level. Yeah,
Yeah,
but somehow like I kind of get, I guess I'm like, I was like designed, my body was like made to do it a little or whatever, but
yeah.
like
You're yoga.
I'm able to keep up with what they're doing, and it's been like super sick.
What's an advanced yoga move that you're working on or struggling with right
That
now,
I don't remember any names so far. I've been
dude?
like
Yeah,
I just came like went straight to the yoga class. I've been like I pre-study anything and just went for it. And I'm like just trying to pay attention at everything, what she's showing, like remembering the names like at the same time, all at the
there's
same
so
time.
many complex names in yoga. I was like,
Yeah,
whoa. The more I learned about it, I was like, dude, this is a whole
yeah,
thing.
uh-huh.
Like I think there's a pose called Wild Thing or something, and I cannot get into it, dude. But my
Yeah,
hips, I've been working over the past 3 years. My hips have definitely opened up a lot. Like I remember the
hmm.
first time I tried pigeon. Pigeon
Oh
is
yeah,
where,
pigeon.
yeah, I'll try and explain to people listening. But pigeon, you put so you're on the ground. Your front leg is in front of you and bent, and your back leg is extended
Leaning
behind
on your
you.
knee. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're leaning. It's trying to open up your hips, basically. Google it. Fuck it.
Hmm.
Pigeon pose. The first time I did it, I couldn't even get my leg flat on the ground. I was like, holy shit, I am
Oh
tight.
yeah,
And then practice over a couple of years, and then all of a sudden my hips
yeah,
are fairly open. And I think like
yeah,
that's got to be the most important part of your body to have open up. Like everybody is
hmm,
just chronically tight in their hips. Like,
yeah.
but if you loosen up your
Everything,
hips, everything
shoulders.
else
Yeah.
follows. Yeah, which is
Hmm.
amazing. I had a
Yeah.
thought with yogis, yoga, thinking about writing, and oh, I was gonna ask what genre of what type of yoga does your girlfriend enjoy teaching the most? Like vinyasa, yin,
I think it's a vinyasa, but it's like an open one. It's kind of like a little bit of freestyling, you know.
sick. That's dope.
But yeah, I want to try asana. So there's like a teacher that's like doing asana at the
What is
studio.
asana?
It's like more the traditional poses and stuff like that, like the very Hindu like traditional like poses. It's like a series, like series one, series two.
Sick.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, vinyasa
it's a little
feels like a
different.
workout.
It's some
Yin,
different workout. You have to like hold the poses for like five long breaths each. There's like a whole like there's a way to do them. It's like pushing it, like you push it.
it's it's
Yeah,
like people shit on yoga, like, oh, that's just stretching, and it's like you have no idea, bro. It's
no
like
idea. It
if you
made me
did,
like I mean definitely I'm sweating still like crazy because they like it like the room that is better when it's hot. You know, like it loosens a little bit.
yeah.
But I definitely like felt like I was gonna die like sweating and then even like crying. You know, like they always play some music at some point. There's just so much like struggle. Like you put I mean if you're trying to follow it, like I don't know. I could like I don't know, he opened something and I was like literally crying.
It's just a good release. That's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah,
yeah. You wouldn't think you would make you go through that.
we love a good cry.
Hmm.
Crying shouldn't be
It
taboo.
was like at a base, out of a good feeling. But
Yeah, dude,
still.
I like happy cry or inspirational cry, not all the time, but often. Like
Yeah,
if something is beautiful, like a song hits me, dude, I am
yeah,
like I just feel good and there's tears coming out of my eyes. It's a
I know.
beautiful
Yeah,
thing. Like each
yeah.
completed video, I end up crying, like mediocre at best. That night, I was
Oh yeah,
crying my ass off. Lightworks premiere,
so
dude,
sick.
crying my ass. I was like sobbing in the front row as the intro started
Hmm.
playing, and the theater's watching it.
Yeah.
Just like pure joy. It's fucking incredible.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we covered Bhagavad Gita. I said it right, yeah?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Thank you. And a little bit of yoga. What does the future look like for you in the
Well,
near future? I think you're pretty zen.
pretty
You're not too worried about it, but any
no, but
plans?
it's looking like it's going somewhere for sure. Like I like Miami so far. I'm pretty much just moving in right here. Like I just got the my parking spot in the building, and I'm gonna stay here. I'm working with the yoga studio for their graphic designs and stuff. I'm doing
With
like
the
flyers and t-shirts. The
US
yoga
what?
yoga studio.
Oh, okay, sick.
Yeah, I'm working with them. Like also definitely more yoga and like I don't know videos soon and yeah, excited. Miami's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Do you have I might have asked you this earlier in this interview, but do you have footage saved up at all?
No,
No. We're
I'm
starting
not
from
really.
scratch,
I
baby.
don't like to. Yeah,
Yeah. Sick.
no good ones. Yes, just saving stuff like that. I like chronology, so usually like even like posting, I don't know, I never like post something that's old or unless it's like really like throwback or whatever. But
Right.
I don't know, just might as well use it now and then I feel more, type of
Yeah.
like I'm here.
I think that's a good outlook.
Yeah.
All right. So yesterday, dude, I actually presented because my main job is I'm doing social media, video, photo, and creative direction and media management for Jamil, who is a, a
Hmm.
real estate coach, and you met him. That was so fun
Yeah.
when we met in
Yeah.
Austin.
That was great.
But I presented to 200 people last night for an hour on just like Instagram strategies and TikTok strategies and how to actually post. Like there's people asking like, "What's the story?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, we got to like start at the very beginning." That's crazy. And so they're all in real estate investing, and I'm trying to put my mind in their shoes of like, okay, how if I were you guys, what would I use Instagram for and what would I share? And I was telling them like educational content is big, entertainment, sharing the highs, the lows, like just if
Hmm.
you have a cool phone call where something interesting happened, share that. And so there's like
Hmm.
mindfulness and strategy that goes into what you're doing on social media. And I know that that applies especially to being a pro BMX rider. So what
Yeah.
are your tips for social media for, because you're fairly good at it, like you've grown your Instagram, and like what are some tips that you would give to a young BMX kid who's trying to grow on Instagram? And like, it doesn't even, it's not cringe,
I
fuck the
kind of
word
apply the
cringe,
same
it's not
rule.
cringe,
Yeah.
yeah. What's your social
I
media
kind of apply
strategy,
the
bro?
same rule.
What's the
Well, I
same
kind of
rule?
apply the same rule as I do for everything. Is if I care about, if you care about it, then someone's gonna care about it. So like, it's not necessary to like go all the way out and like go out of your way to like make crazy production for like posts to like think too far, too crazy.
Yeah.
When yeah, and like it might not work, And if you don't care about it, like it's gonna show that you went out of your way. It's gonna sounds like it looks like puffed up,
Yeah.
and that never sells. And I realized that the more you care about something or you like something, and it might be like a bad clip, like a iPhone clip, like someone feeling like bad, but it's kind of cool, or you like it, or you care about it, that people are gonna react to it that more than a crazy production.
Yeah.
And it kind of applies with everything. So I'm just sticking to like what do you want to see. Like I use Instagram pretty much of like I post stuff that I want to see on my page, kind of,
Yeah.
or my story. I kind of make it stuff that I looked at during the day that I liked or clips, whatever. That's I don't know what I want to see. Turns out like a lot of people also like to see it because I cut it with a because my taste like is alright, or so might as well just trust yourself and like post what you think is cool and make it cool. Like instead of like trying to follow like trends and stuff like that, but it's puffed up. Like you didn't really care for it.
I agree. I think that's,
Yeah.
dude, I'm stealing that and I'm going to tell them. Like if
Hmm.
if it's something,
Mhm.
do what you like seeing, like if you
Yeah,
care
that
about
way at
something,
least there's
post that.
one
Yeah.
fan that's you, and then
Yeah,
if you're stuck,
exactly.
it might be like it's, it communicates, like people might become a fan because you're a fan, and it's inspiring.
Yeah. And you don't want to come across as just like you're trying to force it to
Yeah,
get views and shit. You just want to post
yeah,
what you like. That's interesting.
yeah.
What other type of, because like I think a lot of writers just do clips. They do no other types of content.
hmm
Are you just doing BMX clips or is there more to it?
No, I mean, I still post just like random pictures or just like lifestyle pictures also, but I don't do too much stuff.
Yeah. Is there
It's not
a
like the usual.
is there a cadence, like an amount of posts per day that you aim for? Is there
Oof.
uh
No, it's pretty
no.
random according to like what I'm doing, right? It could be
Yeah.
like 50 stories in one day because I'm at Swampfest, and then all of a sudden I'm chilling at home for like a couple days, and like my mom's calling me like, "Oh, I didn't see anything on Instagram." Like, "Are you good?"
Are you all
Like, "Yeah,
right?
yeah." I was just not
Yeah.
doing much. Like, no, there's days where I don't even open it, but
I love
yeah, so I try
having
to keep a rhythm around.
I love my mom. She's also a fan on Instagram and Facebook
Yeah,
stories and all that shit.
yeah, that's how
Uh
I keep track a little bit.
how are you monetizing Instagram at all?
No,
You
I
get
can't. Yeah, you need the social security number.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, so I guess it's only happening in the US, so like no one else can really do
Yeah. Well, what's it gonna when are you gonna become a mm, never mind. Let's see.
it.
Where do we
No,
go
it's in
from
the
there?
work. Might
Yeah.
take a couple years still,
Okay. Yeah.
because the green card process is when you file for it takes a year, and it takes months, like probably 6 months to gather everything together. And I just had to I just start over because I separated with my ex and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's a long process, but eventually, I got in touch with the immigration lawyer like recently, so kind of giving me clues on what's best, you know, action. What should I do? Kind of.
Yeah. How to
But
make it
getting
happen.
there. Yeah,
Dope.
yeah,
That's exciting. You're gonna become an
yeah,
American citizen, Brett. That's cool. That's
yeah.
that's dope. Um.
Um,
Well, let's do our little the the traditional Canode Nose rapid fire section. Hit me with your Mount Rushmore of all time riders, and then we'll do
all
one.
timers.
Yeah, we'll do current and all time. So all time Mount Rushmore. What do you think?
Well, Garrett for sure, and I'd say Devon,
Love Devin.
Julian Ortega, but it's more recent, but it's been around for so long actually, so I think that counts.
He has been around for a long time, even though it
Yeah,
feels like it. In my head, he's still like common crew, young little shit. But now he's a grown ass man now at this point.
yeah.
So swaggy. That video that just came out was so good,
Just
dude.
recently, like
Yeah,
everything. I mean, it's been a while. It's wow. But
he has such a cool style and trick selection. I love watching Julian ride.
yeah, it's like jazz.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
And then older, wow, there's so many. I'd say Van Omen for like the beginning, but
Boom.
and
There
I
we
just saw
go.
him last weekend.
That's a fun all-time Mount Rushmore. Okay, now current.
Oh, you were talking current
Oh, that was your current
later.
one?
No, but like I didn't
Okay.
know you were gonna ask for current after.
Yeah. Let's do current now.
Mm, all right. Well, Felix will be in there, and
He's
Julian again.
incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brett would be cool.
Brett Silva.
Yeah.
Dude, he is at the top of
On
the game
one.
right now.
Yeah, at the moment. Wow. Killing it.
Felix Brett.
Um, Felix Brett. So hard. How are you picking?
Nathan Williams.
Oh, Nathan would be more in
All
Legends one.
time.
The
Yeah.
old timer.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, not sure. I think I mixed them up. That's why I'm lost now. Devin would have been over there.
In the current one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it, dude. Who cares? It's a silly, fun question. It's really hard to do. When I got asked it, I was like, oh shit, because you automatically are thinking about everybody that you're leaving out.
Yeah.
There's so many talented writers too. Like R. Willie. I was just talking about him with
Oh,
Johnny,
the
dude.
recent one, definitely the Japanese kid. What's his name? The 11-year-old.
The young kid, Suzuki.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so swaggy and only 11 years old. It's unbelievable.
And Basil from Switzerland.
I don't
I really
know.
like his,
Put me
he's a
on. What's
stranger.
his Instagram?
22 something.
22 something is his Instagram?
Yeah. No, not actually
like
something.
The number 22? 22 crew?
Yeah, 22 crew, and then the last video that was oh, it's KB22, I think, in Instagram.
Oh, Kid 22B? Yeah, Basil. Okay, let's check him out. This is a young buck.
He's sick. Yeah.
Kid
You gotta check
22B. Holy shit.
His new video. Yeah, the crank flip.
I did see that crank flip clip. That is a great
But that's
clip.
like, has nothing to do with what he does usually. That was crazy that he did that.
Dude, he's got swag, dude. A little bowl cut, baggy jeans. That's my dude. Where's he from?
Exactly. Switzerland.
Dope.
He would come to Long Beach a bunch because he's some stranger.
Dude, that's sick.
Kick it with him.
I'm psyched on this kid's writing. That's awesome. Okay, anybody else that I don't know that I should know? Well, that's a great one.
There's another from the 22 crew, the other guy.
What is this 22 crew? I've never heard of, but
it's a little crew of Switzerland, but there's those two guys, like the blonde dude is also pretty same style, but like wow, just so unique also.
Yeah. Who's the other one you said? Besides Basil?
I forgot his name, but
Serafina Janosch, is that his name? 22 crew stranger.
Maybe Janosch, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's got to be him. Yeah, he's looking pretty swaggy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Dope. Well, thanks for putting me on to him. That's dope. I can't. Yeah, Stranger's still kicking it, huh? And Primo.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like a new era.
Yeah, dude. The generation of young kids coming up, like just seeing what's possible, having Garrett Reynolds videos available to you when you're just learning tricks and seeing what like top of the game looks like.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking to Johnny about yesterday. It's crazy, the progression and the fact that everything's so instantly accessible. Like you can look up a how-to 180 on YouTube and learn 180s in a single day. You know, it's kind of crazy.
And you can have choice. You have like.
Who did you look up to when you first got into? Who was your first like big inspiration on video? Like not necessarily in person, but who were you trying to emulate? I think everybody.
Yeah, it was definitely like Ruben or the
Ruben.
Forward. Like I like Joe and Taj, you know.
Yeah, Joris, Taj.
And Ruben for a while, and then Kevin Porter also for a while. I was like a huge fan. And
What's your favorite Ruben clip? Sergio Leos, dude, it's so good. But what pops into your head if you can think of one Ruben clip? I have one in my head.
Weep, maybe the 270 weep, like or that wall ride, no footer to tapes, like
wall ride, no footer to tapes.
Yeah.
Where? Yeah, I guess I gotta watch some more Ruben videos. Oh, okay, yeah.
In forward, yeah.
What's is it in forward that he rides that building? I think it's a bank, but it's just like two banks and a wall, and it's just over a stair set. He just rides up one bank, wall rides over, and then just slams into the other bank and rides away. Like it sounds like his tire pops and explodes, and it's one of the craziest wall rides I've ever seen.
Yeah,
that's my favorite Ruben clip.
Oh yeah.
And just thinking about Sergio Leos is still out there killing bowl contests.
Yeah.
Like he's been going since, he's been going at least 20 years. At least he's been riding. What a fucking legend Sergio is.
I was buying a signature part Pantera when I was like 14. So
yeah, that was my first bike, was a Fly Pantera. Yeah.
That's the forks too and bars.
I remember buying $90 Ruben pedals that were they were $100 pedals, which was, that's
insane. Yeah.
Pretty expensive for pedals, but they were cool. I was stoked on Ruben.
I remember when I went to my first bike shop, the Etnies Forward video came out, and that's when DVDs were coming out. So they had the VHS version and the DVD version still.
Sick. Yeah.
That was like at that era. But the DVD I remember was $60.
Wow.
So like I ended up buying the VHS because it was like 30.
Yeah.
Like now you can get there's no DVDs anymore. Like
Yeah, for real. DVDs are
like
dead.
$60 for
A video. It was a whole
four.
industry, man. Like the
Mm-hmm.
Shook, like right, Chad Shackelford, I think was making a living off of BMX videos for a while, just like on DVD
Mm-hmm.
sales and just the DVD era. I caught the tail end of it with Mediocre at Best getting distributed by Sparky's and seeing like,
Mm-hmm.
thousands of copies were made and distributed to bike shops all over the world. It was so fucking
Damn,
cool
that's
to
sick.
be a part of. But that was the basically end of Sparky's doing DVDs. They did their
Yeah,
own stuff from then on, but yeah, DVD sales
sure.
kind of died around like 2012, 2013. It's
Yeah,
kind of crazy. And now everything is just like a digital download. What do you think is the
download.
future of distributing full-length videos? It's just going to be YouTube?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like no, just YouTube or you could like show it, present it as like a package, like you're buying a DVD, but it's definitely not. I think there should still be DVDs, like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, but it's definitely going to go, yeah, the way it's going, where you can buy it online, which sounds kind of nice. Maybe even like cheaper, just stuff that go like 99 cents. I think that's the
Right.
way to go. That way there's more sales, like,
Yeah. I
but
agree. It's trippy to
you
think
know,
about the future and how we're going to consume media and things like because you go back if you went back in time 25 years you wouldn't and you you would never picture the iPhone and how magical this device is, like
yeah,
this is so crazy. And so
hmm
what are we not thinking about that's going to be out in 10 years that we can't even wrap our heads around, like something like Neuralink being into our brains and we're like, oh, you want to see that new video, just think about it and then you can like close your
yeah.
eyes and
Oh,
watch
you
it.
saw the clip, and I show it to you. Like,
Yeah, so nuts, dude. The
yeah,
future is going to be fucking crazy. Are you going to get
yeah,
it? I think I already know your answer, but do you know what Neuralink is?
yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
I follow.
Would you do it in the future?
I don't think so because I would want to compete with the. Because sometimes I think AI is dumb. I want to put a hashtag AI is dumb because like you see all the crazy stuff that it can do, and you see those paintings, right? That AI is painting.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like it looks like a picture. Like
yeah.
sometimes they make it look like it's a photograph, but then they would have like 12 fingers,
Right,
like
yeah.
toes. Like there's like all their extremities, or someone's holding a cup. Everything looks perfect, but you look closely, and the fingers like merging with the object.
Yeah.
Like
There's just something
I'm like, if you're
off.
so smart, like why would you five you meant as the five fingers? Just remember,
Yeah.
write it down, and that's it. Like
Why can't you
some
remember
stuff
that, you
that
stupid computer?
so we always have the yeah, we're always gonna have the advantage being like human, like free, like you can
Yeah.
predict a computer kind of because it's a program, but as a human, you can kind of like flip and change your mind in a second. Emotions, like and if you entertain that and be better at being human, then you can actually compete with AI, like in a
So
sense.
wild. Yeah. Well, that's like
It's interesting though.
avoiding the AI taking over is what I think Elon was talking about it, like just
Yeah, it's just
becoming symbiotic with it. And
exactly. Yeah, I've
shoot,
seen that press conference. He
yeah,
was saying that. I was like, "Well, that makes sense. Okay, but you do it."
it's trippy to think about.
Yeah.
I just got a call from my neighbor. Yeah, I got to go get my dog. My dog ran away real quick.
Mm-hmm. Oh well.
Give me two minutes. Sorry, dude. I let Trip hang out front sometimes, and he usually just stays around. But I just got a call from my neighbor while you were talking,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh no, he ran away." So he was just like doing laps around my complex. Anyway,
Oh, that's a good boy.
we're talking about AI, and yeah, he is a good boy. He doesn't want to like escape. He just wants to get some exercise. Poor fellow.
Yeah.
Do you gotta just your girlfriend have a pet?
Yeah. Actually, I just got that little dog,
Oh, sick. Hell yeah.
Frankie. It's pretty cool.
I'm so happy for you and having a
Yeah.
place to live and a woman to love. It's a
Yeah. No,
beautiful
it's been
thing, man.
amazing.
Yeah, life's good.
Been amazing out of the blue. Just came out of nowhere, but
That's how it goes. I
so
remember
perfect.
it wasn't too long ago you were talking about riding a wave. You were, at the bottom part of a
Yeah.
wave and
Yeah. And I kind of wasn't looking for it. I wasn't like expecting that at all. I was like, well, why am I just focused on myself and everything for a while? Just trying to like submerge, like get back to the surface kind of.
yeah,
And then came around kind of quicker than expected. It was like, had the
fuck
feeling,
yeah. That's how it goes.
had the
Um,
feeling.
what about, advice on love? I feel like you're in touch with spiritual connection, and what would be your advice to young dudes when it comes to women or or men, whatever
Yeah.
you're into, but just
Mm-hmm.
love in general.
I feel like that notion of serving or being like here for like to serve instead of being served is like very important. Instead of trying to take, yeah, be ready to provide. And usually, I mean, not every time because things you obviously have been through different situations that were kind of bad, but
That's a really
um,
good piece of advice right there. Just give,
yeah,
give, give.
give, and then at some point you end up receiving.
Yeah,
So you're always
solid.
frustrated if you want to take. You're always frustrated because there's always something going to be missing, and then like drains the other person. Yeah, it's like toxic.
Yeah, talk.
But if you're
And
ready to give more, expecting on receiving, then you're kind of like always satisfied. If you take pleasure in like giving or being
yeah,
there,
if you're
taking
only
care of someone.
giving for the expectation of receiving, you're gonna get let down and be
Yeah,
resentful, and that's no good.
and then angry, and then yeah,
Yeah, and then
doesn't
it
work.
becomes toxic. And the advice for a toxic relationship is get the fuck out quick,
Yeah,
because there's really after
yeah.
you reach a certain age, there's no fixing anybody. You're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
they'll change, and it's like, no, they won't. They
Mm-hmm.
might change for a
Exactly.
little bit, but the toxic shit will carry
Yeah,
on. Um,
and also not to discourage because obviously like I've been through many relationships, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or the right person is not there. It's like exactly like writing, like you fall so much, but like you can get it, you can, the trick is
yeah,
there. Like you have the video, the picture in your head, like I know I'll get it. Maybe it's not the right spot, maybe it's not the right day, maybe it's raining, maybe blah blah. It's like
right, yeah.
discourage and still be like forget yourself and the other person because they're also struggling. Like
So what I'm
it's
hearing
not
is
for
you're
everyone.
saying girls are tricks.
Pretty much, you got to pull.
Got to pull some tricks, dog.
Yeah,
Let's
petals.
see. I'd like to know, out of all the shit that you've done, gee, dude, thinking about how much time you've spent in front of the camera on a bike, what sticks out as what are you most proud of when you're looking back on projects or individual clips? What is your opus magnum, if you will? I think that's the right term, right? There's a
Yeah.
term for like your masterpiece. Mine would be mediocre
Huh.
at best. Your opus
Oh yeah.
magnum, I think.
I feel like it would be balanced, the India video for sure.
That one was
Somehow,
very special.
I think it's the one of the video that I have like on YouTube that has the most view still up to today.
94,000. Is that
Yeah,
the
and the
yeah?
one that people keep like bringing up like all the time, mainly, even
Is
though
this
it's been like
balance one?
years now. Yeah.
It's pretty fantastic. And it's not so much like a
It's not my best
there's
writing
great
video.
writing in it, but
Yeah, but
it
yeah,
tells a
that wasn't the
story.
point. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like people got it. And I mean, it showed kind of that was my goal. And when we decided to go there, I almost thought that we were not going to find anything to write. I mean, I didn't really know, but it kind of went fine. So it's not the best writing for sure, but like it's more like the whole thing is like came out perfect.
It's an experience, and you get to come
Yeah,
along with you on this journey. It's so dope. I think there needs to
yeah,
be there I mean, I keep saying this, but there needs to be more of that, and that's that type of
yeah,
stuff you can show to somebody who doesn't necessarily know all the technical aspects of BMX, but they still get a
yeah,
kick out of it because you're showing them
yeah,
the culture of a different place.
yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that's important. And
Mm-hmm.
the name is perfect, finding the balance between sharing just experiencing a place and also
Yeah,
doing a couple of bike tricks,
yeah,
and the beautiful music in there, which is was so
yeah.
awesome.
Actually,
Ooh, if Ryan Navazio is commenting, one of the best videos
yeah,
I've seen in a long time. Let me share my screen real quick. Uh, right there. So one of the
I saw that.
best videos I've seen in a long time. Thanks for keeping my eyes glued to the screen for 9 minutes. That's so dope. The most
Yeah, that's pretty
atmospheric
cool.
BMX video ever. Okay, word. I feel like I'd be proud of this too. How about riding clip wise? What do you think is your favorite riding clip that you've done?
Well, there'll be those two Tarais that we mentioned earlier
Yeah.
for sure, and
Dude, the
then
Seattle one is so fucked. I can't believe you did it 5 times. It's unbelievable.
yeah, like unnecessary. But I was like, if I leave right now, then I'm not getting the actual angle, and I know I'm gonna regret it my entire life. So I was like, it's kind of worth trying again.
Yeah, worth
I
it.
have to. But the what could go wrong too was kind of nice. Like the whole as a whole is pretty nice, and I like the last one also, the one in LA, the frame promo kind of.
Yeah, who'd you
With the
film that
tire
one
ride in
with?
St. Pedro. See,
Promo. Let's
the
see.
intro clip also I was pretty stoked because I haven't done like that big of a gap in a while. I was like, oh, I didn't know I had it in me still. Like, that was big.
11 months ago.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's watch this one together and relive it. All right. Slow motion intro. Let's go.
Yeah, this one. This one gave me a bunch of stress.
Oh, and it comes into color. I love that. Damn, that's a good clip. Tire ride, tuck no hander. So being able to do all the tricks like tuck no hander, bar spin, tail whips, what do you think is your favorite trick to do? I love that. Did you hit your handlebar on that?
Yeah,
I
on the
love
bottom.
those. That's the
Bang.
Joris move, the
Yeah,
handlebar taps.
the thing.
That's a fun clip, just doing the hill bomb right there.
Mm-hmm. And the guy that picks me up on the way up, like random
Yeah,
guy.
that's sick. I
Like,
love that. That's a vibe. Oh, the X up to drop X up is pretty sick, dude.
mm-hmm.
This is a great video.
Yeah, I like that one. No, I'd say just bar spins in general because it's so simple and like it's like one of the best crank flips, K whips. No, I guess K whips would be the best, but I wish I could do them more without hurting myself. But
Yeah, tail whips seem like even when you land them, sometimes it hurts.
yeah, like,
Nollie to X up grind to bar spin out, so sick. X up grinds to bar spins they look extra hard because it's a
yeah, cool. Yeah.
1.5 rotations
Mm-hmm.
of your baz. Which trick you said tail whips if you could do them without getting hurt would be it, but
Yeah,
bar spins. What's the best
definitely
feeling
X-Pix
trick?
bar. X-Pix bar is actually pretty sick. I could do them like my eyes closed pretty much. Like at straight
X
park
pegs
or
bar.
on the ledge,
Yeah,
they're like automatic.
that's dope.
There's a way to do them where you like just sling the bars like without hopping. They're super
Yeah, I love
fast.
how that
Yeah,
looks. Like the
yeah.
iconic one, I think Edwin did one a long time ago. I love
Mm-hmm.
this goofy, fun trick, dude. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Kevin Porter.
Is that a KP grind right there?
Yeah, I used to do that. I remember copying it often when I was like 15.
Hell yeah. I want to talk to Kevin on here. I gotta like
Mm-hmm.
he's one of the ones where I would have to like study because he was a little bit before my generation and
Oh yeah.
I need to learn more about him before
Mm-hmm.
talk to him. Who produced this video? Who shot it and edited it? Booty?
Stefan. Yeah.
Yeah, Booty. You can
Yeah,
tell
that was
his
fun.
style. He's
Mm-hmm.
good, man. He's got a very
Yeah.
unique, or maybe not
Yeah.
unique, but a specific filming style and editing
Mm-hmm.
style.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he'll
It's-
put filmed and edited by Stefan just like in the middle of the video randomly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I did pretty much, but I kind of like at the end still. But
Am I watching this on like 2x speed right now?
yeah, it's kind of a weird like speed.
No, it's normal. It's just because it's over Zoom.
Mm.
Dude, that was a crook, yeah?
Yeah.
That was wild.
And my pegs or bars, I got like hit the fence on the first time.
Sheesh.
So tight.
Spooky. Good shit. Oh, I
Oh
love
yeah,
that.
this one, man. And someone was saying like, "Oh, tire slide to like hand plant,"
Oh, dude, yeah.
and then that's not what I was going for, but it was so short, and my tires actually slide a little bit, and for a brief
Yeah.
second, and it's pretty much like double tire slide.
That's so cool.
This one,
Dude, yeah.
and like they pretty much just like cancel the spot right after, like a month after they
Oh my
build like
God.
fences.
Yeah, I remember this clip like it was yesterday. Oh my God. Just doing the tire ride would be enough, and you send the alley-oop 3 out of it. So good, man. If I recall, that's the end, yeah? Yeah, that's the end.
Yeah.
Dope. Man, I enjoyed catching up with you. I think we can.
Yeah, that was nice.
There's a lot more to cover, I think, but we gotta call it for the day. So come back and do this again, maybe if you ever come through Arizona or whenever you feel like. If you got some project dropping, come hit me up. That was the plan, huh? If you were gonna drive through.
Coming through, but my car broke down.
Yeah, fuck, I remember.
So I stayed in Santa Fe.
Yeah, thanks, Joris.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
You got any general advice you would want to give to some whoever's listening or watching?
Just know that keep doing you. You're all beautiful, and just like just don't stress it. Just do your best and let the universe do the rest. It's part.
I love
We
that.
only can do so much, like people like take it on their shoulders a lot, and then
Yes. Just take it one little step at a time. Make a to-do list and check one thing off. It feels good to.
Yeah.
A couple
if you
days
look at it
ago,
the right way, it's a beautiful place still.
a couple days ago, I felt so overwhelmed, and then just because there's so many things going on in the air, and I'm trying to do too much, not necessarily too much, but then as soon as I made a to-do list and started chipping away at it, one thing gets done, and I'm like, okay, I feel better.
Yeah,
it's just like
that was like nice thing. Yeah,
yeah. I think if you're moving in the right direction, no matter how fast or slow you are, as long as you're moving, you're doing good. And also I got a workout in or a couple of workouts in, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember why this is important to do. Like working out changes your brain so hard and your gut health. And I'm rambling now.
Never give up.
Never give up. Never surrender. How can people support you? Like if they want to show love to you.
Just follow my Instagram and like maybe Swasty. Check it out. The brand is like tagged. The link is on my profile.
Okay.
And just
So if I
thanks for watching, and
do you want to do like a little giveaway? If somebody comments Swasty on this video, we can go through and I'll buy them.
I could actually have a
Swasty
whole bike like
shirt,
sitting
or
here.
You got a bike to give away?
I mean, I was just thinking because like my whole bike is like complete and just sitting there. But
yeah, well, that's
that might be a lot.
much.
I don't know what to do with it yet.
Yeah, that's a lot. Do that somewhere else.
Let's just give away a shirt for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think that people should do to enter the contest?
They should just DM me KANODE knows, and whoever sends it first gets the shirt.
Okay, nice. I love that. First come, first shirt. First come, first shirt. Dope.
Yeah,
so
KANODE knows.
Dude, that's wild. So if somebody listens and makes it all the way to the end right here, and you send Joris a DM saying KANODE knows, you get a free shirt. Shit, that's fun. That's cool.
That's fun. That's kind of cool.
They never do it that way where it's the first one, like contests. That's great. It's whoever is it's whoever's up early enough to watch this at 7 a.m. on Monday morning.
Lucky him,
Yeah, lucky them. Or he or she. There's 1% of the KANODE knows audience is female. So that's an awful lot of women. That's like one whole woman that listens. I want to look at which Monday this comes out on. So this will come out on Monday the 13th of March.
Nice.
Dope. Okay.
Dope.
DM Joris on Instagram. KANODE knows when this drops, and you get yourself a free shirt. Oh, dude, while you're here, let's do this. There was like, I don't even know at this point, 12 episodes ago or 10 episodes ago, I did a contest where I said I would buy a Burn Slow shirt for somebody in the comments. So maybe you can help me. Let's go to KANODE knows. I think it's Aaron Ross. And see the comments. Let's see. Yeah, dude, I have to pick a winner from this. Okay, sort by newest first, I guess.
You do like the random pick, or do you do
yeah, just random pick. So you tell me when to stop.
Yeah, the shamble, go back and close my eyes. Okay.
Going up. Stop. Brett Silva.
Oh my god.
All right.
Well, next guy below.
Okay, Tyler Nichols. I was gonna say, yeah, Brett already gets free Burn Slow shirt. So let's go. Brett. Tyler Nichols, you win, bro.
There we go.
Send me a DM on IG, and I'll get you a shirt. That'll do it. Let's see. I wonder if links work in the. Okay, just hit reply. Okay, there we go. That's that.
Cool.
Thank you, Joris.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day. Love you, mate.
Yep. I'll see you soon in person. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hello, you've reached the end of the video. Thank you for watching that episode of KANODE Knows. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did doing it, and we'll see you next week. Have a good ass day. I appreciate every single one of you. I mean it. Fucking nerds.